is though.
Oh. Hold on. Oh. Well, hello everybody and welcome to Super Shifty Sunday. I'm your host, Hebro77, along with Armor Up and Sagittarically Speaking. Welcome to a special edition of Shifty Sunday. Well, I don't know how special it is, other than it's Super Bowl Sunday night. But guys, we got one heck of a game going on here. 20-24. What do you think?
Yeah, it looks like it is going to be one of those. You'll find out at the very last minute. The funny thing is, there's only 2 minutes left in the game, but it could take them another hour to play
it. Right. I've noticed that. Well, I got to tell you, for the audience watching at home, I'm all on for Kansas City because number one, they're closer to me. Number two, they're the underdogs. Number three, I found out you got yourself a veteran on the team. Not a veteran as in a veteran football player. They probably got that too, but I mean a military veteran. And
I'm sure they probably got somebody with the number 77 too.
Oh yeah, that makes it all for me. So, but that's my reasons for it. How about you, Armor?
Got a mouthful of peanuts.
Oh, sorry. Speaking of peanuts, you can see my avatar over there, Charlie Brown, Lucy.
Oh yeah, he no matter how many times she pulls that trick on him, he falls for it over and over and over again. It's kind of like, the story of my life.
Yeah.
That's right.
And then also, speaking of peanuts, did you guys happen to notice the Planters commercial?
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I like that. They speaking of tricking us, they tricked us. They pulled the wool over our eyes. We thought that good old Mr. Peanut was dead for sure. And then all of a sudden he pops back up as a baby, like, just kidding.
Yeah, I think that they're trying to kind of get some they saw what worked for the Mandalorian with that baby Yoda, and they thought they could do the same thing with a peanut.
Oh, I know. And you notice at the very end there, it's like, hey, where's my monocle?
Yeah, I thought that was funny.
That was funny. And you can picture the Monopoly guy saying the same exact thing. Hey, where's my monocle?
Yeah. The Mr. Peanut wears it on the opposite eye that the Monopoly guy does too.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh. Well, I just wanted to say something that they're still in here because mine has lag. To CJ Wood and KC, welcome. Thanks for hanging in there and waiting. I don't know if you guys are still there or not, but there's Bub Elvis as well. So we're building our crowd back.
Bob.
Do what? Oh, Go-Kart Bob, how you doing, man? I'm surprised Euler Greg isn't in here. If Euler Greg was in here, we'd ask him if he noticed any. Oh, there he is.
Well, so what were you going to ask him?
Well, I was going to ask him if he noticed any Football changes. Mandela wise.
Mandela wise.
Mandela wise.
Otherwise,
Oh, by the way, we're missing one tonight. I'm not sure where she is, but wherever Raven is, I'd like to say a great big hello and hope that nothing's wrong with her. Hopefully, it's just an internet issue.
Yeah. I hope she's not stuck in traffic in Miami.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine trying to get out of that event?
Wait, what? Oh, yeah. That went over my head there for a second.
That's okay. So did the Super Bowl halftime show. It went way over my head.
Yeah, you guys were talking about it. I didn't even watch it. I walked out of the room the minute it came on. I'm like,
well, why wouldn't you watch it? I mean, you knew we were going to want to talk about it.
well, I don't like Shakira, first of all.
Well, her hips don't lie.
Huh?
Never mind.
yeah, I couldn't believe the announcer said that.
I know they sounded so not cool when they did too.
Yeah, just like you'd think a creepy old man would sound.
Yeah. I have to admit though, I haven't really watched TV in a long time. I even haven't watched football, like a real football game live in, I don't know, probably 2 or 3 years. And it was just funny how quickly I felt reaccustomed, like with the announcers' voices, the all the symbology, all the nuances and mannerisms, and just it's like it's so easy just to slide right back into that indoctrinated thought.
Mm-hmm.
Kurt Bob said the Ellen commercial mentioned flat Earth.
Yeah, I heard there was going to be one, but I didn't catch it. Which commercial was it?
The Ellen one.
Oh, okay.
CJ Wood said she doesn't think the halftime halftime show was appropriate for small children, and I agree with that. Yet they did have small children in it.
Yes, and I took issue with that as well. Well, all of a sudden there's a whole bunch of small kids, not only small kids, but like really cute, innocent-looking small children that had no place having anything to do with that halftime show. And then just as quick as they were there, they were gone, and it was back to
Sriracha.
Yeah, it was back. It was back to gratuitous crotches in your face.
Yeah. That's why I told you guys I didn't watch it, but I did. As we were sitting here talking, I went on YouTube and took a look at it. So.
Yeah, I mean, you got a stage with young children, stripper pole, another one grinding her hip because it's all about the hips. They don't lie. Yeah, that's perfect place for young children.
Oh, by the way, I caught the tail end of Dan's show last night. Not the tail end, but I think I don't remember where it happened. I think somewhere between the middle and the beginning, but or maybe it was the end. You guys got an awesome caller on there, and I'll tell you what, he was a very brave guy. He came out and was speaking about all of the stuff that you, Armor, I know you fight for. You fight this evil, all the evils that's going on, and this what he is. Saji, what's going on down there, brother?
Well, will you hear something?
Yeah, it sounds like you're taking the phone and trying to shave with it.
No, I'm not doing anything.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe it's me. But no, Armor, I gotta say, I think that caller was right down your alley with the kind of work that you're doing for your Warriors Call channel.
Yeah, definitely. Interesting call. I got to
Yeah, I
get
don't
back.
know if you picked up on it, Armor, but he even mentioned that Hampstead thing, but I think you were having issues with your internet connection. I don't know if you caught that part.
Oh, might have been when I was gone because I lost all my sound. I had to go. Yeah, I have to get back with him. I definitely want to talk to him some more.
I was pretty amazed of all the people in the chat that were actually getting involved into it, and some of them were actually opening up and mentioning, not in detail, but the things that they went through when they were a child, the abuse and torture and stuff like that, the satanic ritual abuse. And it was amazing because usually when we try to do a show basically on that subject, there aren't a whole lot of people that want to stick around, and they end up either leaving completely or they try to change the subject entirely, which I do understand that a lot of it is uncomfortable, and that's why warrior it takes a warrior to watch some of that stuff because it's very graphic, it's very unsettling. But I do think that it needs to get it needs to get out there. It needs to be exposed. This stuff needs to be exposed. I was very proud of that caller that called in. I think if we can get more and more people like that to come out, and I know it's not easy, so I understand why there's not more of them that come out in the open. But if we could get more and more people like that to come out, tell their stories and stuff like that, and get it out there, then that would be awesome because we need that awareness. We need that exposure. We need to expose these things.
Yeah, I don't know if you got. I saw a commercial today, not during the Super Bowl or anything. I think it was just on YouTube or something. But they're I think it's called Flickr. It's one of those online streaming services or whatever. They got a show getting ready to come out called The Witnesses, and it's going to be real human testimonials of people coming forward and talking, exposing, just doing just that, what you just talked about, uh,
Oh,
coming forward and telling their story of what happened to them and bringing light to it. I thought that was pretty remarkable that they're actually putting out a show like that.
it just goes to the testament that the Father works in wonderful ways. We've been praying. I know I won't say we, but I know Armor, you and your group, you guys have been praying for the children for quite a few years now, and you constantly are trying to encourage people to prayer for the children, and I think that's amazing. That it seems like all of this stuff starting to come to light, and it seems like some of those prayers might be getting answered. As far as that goes, as far as bringing it to the light, I'm not saying those people still need justice, but I think it's getting closer. I think everything's getting closer to everything being revealed and getting out there. So that's just awesome. I just wanted to say that.
Yeah, I think it goes to show the power of prayer. I mean, it's definitely getting exposed more and more and more, a lot more than it was when I was started praying, and everybody else started praying for him. There's no doubt in my mind the prayers are getting answered. Not as fast as we want, not the way we want, as usual, but that's all right. They're getting answered. I see the Father working; He's exposing them. So, yeah,
Yeah, I didn't want to get too far in detail with it, but I just wanted to put that out there, and I thought that was amazing. And on a lighter note, uh, though, Kansas City just won the Super Bowl, so I'm excited about that. Um, changing over the subject. Um, But yeah, and we have. I know you guys have a lot more work to do, and God bless you, man. God bless you for all that you've done so far. And I'll end the subject right there. But well, I pretty much ended it right there when I was talking about. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk about the Super Bowl. But anyway, yeah, there you go. Any thoughts, Benji?
Yeah, I'm sorry. I was I was on another screen. No, I totally agree with you 100%. I think that it's one of those things where um I mean, if you even if you don't feel compelled to make it you know your full time gig with it, every you're putting all your free energy into that cause or any cause, anything that you can do, any prayer you can do, any if you see something online and you choose to share it, if you see a if you happen to even suspect something like that might be going on somewhere around you or with people don't be afraid to you know to bring attention to it, call it out. I mean, the worst thing you could do is expose it. I mean, what you might be wrong, you might be mistaken, and there might be
Yeah,
nothing going on there. But if your gut tells you something might be happening, there's probably a good chance that there is. You know what I mean?
yeah. I'll tell you something. I'll tell you something right now. We can go on YouTube and you can find some of these sickos on YouTube. There's one guy that has a YouTube channel that's a well-known child um, child pornography seeker, and they even had him on the show called To Catch a Predator, and he's a well-known child predator, and so we need to report these people. And I don't understand how in the world a guy like that, who's been to jail, has who had I thought that when they got out there were certain rules they had to abide by, and I thought one of those rules was they could not be on the internet or social media for so many number of years, is my understanding.
Yeah, I'm sure there. I mean, I'm sure it's all on a case by case basis, and whatever conditions they put on his, if he's on parole or whatever. I mean, I don't know that particular case, so I have no idea. But that is something that they will often throw in there. You're not allowed to be anywhere. You even have to, you're not even allowed to live near a school and stuff like that. I mean, that's not uncommon.
Yeah, I'll tell you. Several years ago, my grandpa uh, knew a guy that was a well-known. He didn't know the guy like he knew the guy, but he knew the guy. Knew he was a well-known child molester and whatnot have you, that had just recently had gotten out of jail and or out of prison, I should say, and he had moved into a house that was no less than 2 or 3 blocks from a school, and so he my grandpa called whoever it is you're supposed to call in that situation, and they came back about a week or so later with a report, and he found out that they had forced the guy to move out of his house and out of the area, and I think at that time he might have been my grandpa reported the guy, and he probably ended up taking the guy off the street, because not only did he have to move, but I think he was in violation of his parole, because that was that's one of the terms of your parole. If you're paroled for that sort of crime, I don't think you should get parole for that sort of crime, to be honest with you. But anyway, it is what it is. But yeah, he actually stopped a guy Possibly took him off the street for a while and possibly stopped him from living in that neighborhood forever and ever, you know?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, what is this the popular phrase now? See something, say something. I mean, that definitely applies here.
Yeah, absolutely. The more of these sickos we take off the street, the better.
Now, I saw not to purposely change the subject because
Oh
I
yeah,
mean
by all
uh,
means.
another commercial I saw on the Super Bowl that kind of pertains to topics we like to discuss was the Heinz ketchup commercial where it looked like they were in like different realities,
Yeah.
and then but in all the different realities, Heinz ketchup was still the same. And as far as I know, there isn't any Mandela effects on Heinz ketchup, is there?
Yes, I do believe there is.
Oh, okay. Well, what's the one on Heinz ketchup?
Well, it might not be the particular brand Heinz, but I noticed a lot of people, like I do, remember it as Kets up. Like
Well,
they're
I mean, I even remember that from a kid. There was both spellings, and you'd see it a lot in the cartoons, like ones with Tom and Jerry and stuff like that,
oh,
where they would spell it that way.
yeah,
And I remember wondering why they had two different ways to spell it. I always thought that was strange, but I don't think that's. I mean, I remember that even from when I was a kid. How about you, Armor?
Yep, definitely catsup.
Yeah, yeah.
Speaking of money bags recently put out a video a couple days ago where he had gone to a restaurant. A restaurant, and when he was in the restaurant,
Where was he at again?
huh?
Where was he?
He was at a restaurant.
A restaurant? Is that like a restroom in a restaurant?
No, man. You know, a restaurant.
Where you go if you feel like ranting so you can rest, a restaurant.
Oh, okay. Like if you're getting out of control and they restrain you, you're in a restaurant.
If you grind your gears too much.
Oh, okay.
Restaurant.
By the way, wait, let me go ahead and finish the subject. And he saw.
So he was. Let's just say bar and grill. How's that?
Well, no, because I guess there's no bar, but
How about eatery? He was at an eatery.
Yeah. How about a popular eating establishment?
There you go. Yeah. Well, he was at an eatery, and this particular eatery was making peanut butter burgers.
Peanut butter burgers. Who would want such a thing?
No.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I particularly wouldn't, but Moneybags said they were pretty good, so I take Moneybags' word for it, and I'll go try one someday.
I watched the video, so I know what you're talking about. So go ahead.
But he had noticed on the wall there was the old Jif peanut butter logo, and it said Jiffy, and it had the little Jiffy guy with the knife, and looked like he was getting ready to stab jelly or something. I don't know what he's doing with a knife, but you know, it makes him look a little bit more intimidating, I guess.
Yeah, it didn't even have a cape.
Yeah, cape and a knife.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm surprised he didn't have a shield, but you know, anyway. The point is, he saw it spelt as Jiffy.
Yeah, I noticed that as well. And then the cook had been there for 20 something years, and he said, you know, that they used he's like, well, we use Jiffy peanut butter, but he picked up the jar and he turned it and he saw it said Jif right in front of his face. He's like, well, I guess we use Jif now, but we used to use Jiffy. I guess now we're using the Jif. They had no clue that that they had no clue about the Mandela effect. That was totally going over their head.
Yeah, I thought that was an. Am I still here? That was an interesting video, and I told him in the comments section, I'm like, dude, you may have found one of the best residues for Jiffy that there is, even though I don't believe it was ever Jiffy. But that's
You know what? I agree. I was never totally convinced on that Mandela effect, but that residue right there kind of sold me a little bit more. Like,
Yeah.
okay, well maybe there is a little bit more crunchy in the smooth. You know what I mean?
I would have to say there must have been all three, because there's no doubt in my mind, back when I was watching TV and it was still black and white, the commercial was choosy mothers choose Jif. Always, for decades. So
Yep.
Jif was definitely back there when I was a kid. I'm not saying Jiffy wasn't, but the commercials on TV were choosy mothers choose Jif.
Right. And then there's Skippy
Yeah.
peanut butter. So I could see how somebody, as a kid could have a cross membrance of Skippy, Jeff, and they both have the same color scheme, even kind of, sort of. And I don't know. I'm not discrediting anybody who has strongly resonates with Jiffy. I'm not trying to take it away from you. I'm not trying to say it's not a real. It's just for me. I always felt that was one of those ones where if there was a case of somebody possibly just kind of getting their childhood memories discombobulated, that might be an example of how that could happen.
Well, like I said, I'm not even saying it's highly possible there was a Jiffy, which would have been a knockoff of Jif by a competitor. You know what I mean? It would make sense. I'm just saying, I'm
totally
sure there was Jif.
And that's
saying there wasn't a Jiffy. If I had a peanut butter company and Jif was the main one on TV, I'd probably name my stuff Jiffy. You know what I mean?
Heck yeah. And you know what? I think a lot of times on these Mandela effects, we get caught up on the word change, on it changed from this to that. But you know what? I think I think that's where we're getting caught up on the differences. A lot of these things, they never changed, because in the reality that we're in, it was always this way. What's going on is it's different. It's different than how we remember it. We always get caught up with using that word change. When did it change? But it never changed. In a reality where it was Jiffy, it was always Jiffy. It always has been Jiffy. It always will be Jiffy if you're still in that reality. But when you come back now and you're but somehow we're like in a new reality, even though we have a memory of the old reality, the new reality that we're in, whatever it is now, that's what it's always been. We're just having a hard time accepting the fact that it's different. So we get caught up on trying to wonder how it changed. But the truth is, it never really did. Nothing's really ever changing. It's just different. That's kind of a key point that I've just started to recently kind of pick up on. What do you guys think?
I don't know. Interesting. I'd have to think about it a while. But yeah, it can make sense. But it's sort of changing. The words change, but
it never has changed. I mean, I get what you're saying with it being Jiffy and Jif, but maybe in this reality, whoever created Jiffy peanut butter and the other reality that the people remember Jiffy, they just, the slightly different version of themselves made up a slightly different version of the name.
Oh, absolutely. I agree with that. There's several instances of that, and not that I'm trying to change the subject or anything, but I understand that you had an interesting call on Dan's channel last night. I heard it and I thought it was cool, but I do have a small bone to pick with you, though.
It wasn't last night; it was Friday night. And oh yeah, I mean, I told everybody we were going to go live because I was under the false pretense that we would be able to, but I hadn't actually checked with you or asked you ahead of time. I kind of got caught up in the moment. I have since then apologized. At least I think I did. And anyway, yeah, I did tell everybody on the call at the end there that we were going to try to go live before the Saturday show. And I got it was right at the end of the call, and we got cut off. But even though I did the shameful plug, overall the call was pretty good. And either way, I really was just trying to figure out a way to plug our show there at the end more than I was trying to do anything else. And I was trying to get people to. My goal was to get them to drop our link after the call, and they never shared it.
Huh.
They never. I asked Fizzy in chat to share the link.
Well, see,
They never shared it.
That's what you did wrong right there. Is you asked Fizzy. See, had
but I had just got done buttering her up, so I thought for sure she would do it for me.
See, what you got to do is you got to make sure that Salted Cedar's in there. Salted Cedar's pretty good at plugging our show.
Oh, okay. I'll remember that for future reference.
Yeah. Yeah, see. We just lost about 3 more viewers because I mentioned that. No, I think Moneybags just went live. And I think Dan's doing a movie night. I think that's killing our show a little bit.
Well, why don't you make sure you list all of the competition we have to anybody who might still be watching?
Yeah.
Well, you might as well just drop the links in chat so they can go there.
Shout out to everyone else that's live, and see you all later. Have a
good Oh boy, yeah. Well, then the what's his name again? The one I like to watch every once in a while. Woodcock? No, it's not Woodcock. What's that guy's name? Saji, you know what I'm talking. Doomcock. That's it. Doomcock's live right now, so there you go.
Okay. Well, I have to admit, I'd much rather be here than watching that.
That sounds like something you'd watch. Doomcock.
Yeah, well, no, he does Star Wars reviews.
It's edifying, ain't it?
Huh?
I bet you it's an edifying channel, ain't it?
Well, I mean, he does edifying. He does Star Wars reviews, and he gives the inside scoops to things. But what was interesting was they did do a live that I caught the tail end of the other day, that somebody was actually sharing a UFO experience. And I thought, well, isn't this interesting? I mean, here's a guy who doesn't believe in really any of this stuff, or at least I didn't think he did. But he believes in UFOs. He believes in ghosts. And I asked him about the Mandela effect. And you know what he said?
No, I wasn't there.
One guy said, the Mandela effect. And then the other guy said, the Mandela effect.
You got me on that one. All right, start over. What now? You were watching the show and you asked him about what again?
The Mandela effect.
The Mandela effect.
CJ Wood said she's burnt out on Dan's show for a little bit. She's taking a break from it.
It's funny that I can see how that could be the case. I got like that for a little while. I just got like that with just watching those kind of shows in general. Like just YouTube in general, I got burned out on. I needed to take a break from it for about 7 to 10 days, and I didn't hardly watch any YouTube.
Yeah. The only YouTube channels I really watch, besides Dan's and ours, of course, is Kitchen Nightmares. I like to watch that on YouTube. I watch Kitchen Nightmares, and
that technically isn't a YouTube show, though.
Well,
it's just to be on YouTube. Yeah,
true. But I like to watch G.I. Joe stuff, like G.I. Joe Berg and Hooded Cobra Commander 877. He's got a good channel over there. I like watching him. He does G.I. Joe reviews. there's some others that of course I watch Armor's channel. You know, but at least Armor gives you a good spiritual, a good feeling when you get done watching his programs. These other channels gives you a good feeling for a minute or two, but then it goes away and it's like a drug. You gotta have just a little bit.
Right?
You come
Yeah,
down.
I mean, a lot of these channels, they just are repeating the same information over and over and over again. They don't really. I'm not calling anybody out or picking any names, but I mean, even like even the flat Earth guys. I mean, once you come to once you hear their the best arguments that they got for it, and you come to a logical conclusion of where you stand on the shape of the Earth in your own mind, then there really isn't no need to keep watching more videos about it, because it's not like there's new breaking evidence that just came out today as in regards to the shape of our Earth. Once once you hear it out, and you've gathered the information, and you came to you applied your discernment, and you came to your own conclusion, then why would you want to just keep watching more of the same? I don't understand that.
Sergi, the problem with those flat Earth channels is they keep going round and round and round and round about stuff.
Yeah, I know, right? It's like they're on a ball or something.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah, ding, one for me. Oh man, we have fun. But hey, listen, hey, are you starting up your electric razor again?
Yeah, I sure am.
Oh, okay.
That would be my notification. I could go and see if I could try to turn them off, but even when I turn them off, it still vibrates for some reason.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah, me neither. I'm looking here to see what I can do.
There should be a setting where it says silent and it gives you an option whether you want to vibrate it or just.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm silencing it on my phone, all notifications. I think the only way I can get rid of that vibration is if I go into each individual app and then tell it not to send them to me,
Or you could just take your phone and wrap it in duct tape.
Yeah, that might work.
Makes it hard to answer, though.
So we were talking before we started, Armor and I think you were still kind of prepping the show, Hebrew, but how the halftime show has really become such a what was the word we were using, Armor? A ritualistic type thing.
Yeah, I mean, there's all kind of crazy stuff that goes on in a halftime show.
And like I was telling you, I wanted to share it with the audience. I feel like I after I watch one of those, I feel like I'm being I'm entering into some type of secret society. I just don't know the name of the one I'm signing up for.
Yeah, basically. They cover a lot of them. I mean, it starts out with the woman in red, like hundreds of them. Woman in red's big symbology. Then you had the circle dance, that's obviously symbology.
Yeah, for sure. It wasn't. I remember last year's being extra over the top with the whole flaming fireballs coming into the stadium and stuff like that. This one seemed a little bit more subtle as far as being obvious. But I'm sure tomorrow morning when we wake up, we're going to see those guys that are like expert at breaking this down. There'll be all kinds of great YouTube videos to watch where they show every little detail of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do that every year. They usually do a good job.
Speaking of symbology, I noticed there was a few ads, not all of them, but there was a few of them that had sort of technology is evil type of symbology to them. They had sort of some of the stuff that we talk about sometimes about the millennials getting too much into the little black mirror boxes. And it was kind of, they were doing it in a funny way, but you could tell right off the bat that there was like certain messages hidden within the humor, kind of like when the old guy's talking to what's her name? What's that called again? Sarah? No, not Siri.
Siri,
Yeah, Siri, or what's the other one?
Alexa.
Alexa. Yeah, that's the one people most commonly associate with those types of devices. Yeah, Alexa, and Alexa turns to him and said, well, she doesn't turn, but says, I am not spying on you.
Right. Yeah, I'm trying to remember what commercial. I think it was a Cheetos commercial, but I'm not sure.
I love that Cheeto commercial with a guy. He had the Cheeto hands, and MC Hammer came out and was like, "Can't touch this, no, 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 can't touch this, no, 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 no." And then at the end of the commercial, MC Hammer comes by and grabs the Cheetos. He's like, "Can't touch this, no, 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 no. I touched it, no, no, no."
Oh wow, yeah, you do such a great recreation of that. It's like I feel like I just watched the commercial all over again.
Oh, well, cool. Hey, by the way, guys, we have Fizzy in the house right now.
All right. Hey, Fizzy.
You gotta do it. You gotta do the thing when you say it.
I don't. I can't do that.
Oh, your cheeks must be inflated.
Hold on, I can maybe do it. Hold on, Fizzy.
There you go. Well, I was gonna say the first thing to go on a person when they get old is the cheek popping. So
Right. Now, Fizzy, now that you're in here, I wanted to ask you. The other day, after I called in on a scare on Friday night.
Oh, here we go.
Friday.
Yeah.
I asked you to share a link for our show. Did you not see my request? Because you never shared the link. I'm not calling you out in a bad way. I'm just asking nicely.
And I told you, man, she's shifty. You gotta watch it. You can't send things to Fizzy. She's real shifty. You gotta send them. Just saying.
In Fizzy's defense, it's hard to keep up in
that. Yeah, I think there was probably like over 150 people in there.
Yeah. I imagine you have a hard time shouting all those people out. Well, Dan does it now, I think, right?
Not when I'm on.
Oh, okay. Speaking of a shout out, no, we don't have enough people in here, do we? Well, I guess we've shouted out a lot less, haven't we?
You can shout out. You see, you done brought it up now. You might as well do it.
I brought it up. Oh no.
You got somebody sitting there waiting anxiously to hear their name. You better say it.
I was just speaking psychologically. I don't know what I'm saying. No, we will do a shout out if you want to, Armor.
I suppose I could do that. We got Fizzy Pop in the house, Michael Fontaine, CJ Wood. Go-Kart Bob was here, but he went to Moneybags. Pre-La Minimal was in the house. Bub Elvis, Oiler Greg, and KC was here. There you go.
All right.
That was an excellent shout out. And
that sounds like an all-star cast if I ever heard one.
You could tell Armor's cheek popping abilities aren't going out on him. So I don't know what your deal is.
Yeah, it's just not my thing.
By the way, I stole that joke.
He's a rapper, not a popper.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah. Well, is he a rapper? He's a rapper, not a pop and locker. Pop and lock. I don't know.
Okay. So you want to turn on your camera and show us how you pop and lock?
I'll spare our audience that torture.
Okay.
Thank you, Lord.
There he is. Hey, I told you. When you leave yourself open like that, a door will come and hit you. Can't leave the door open.
Well, I have to say, kind of like the pink elephant in the room here, we all have different Vesica Pisces related avatars. I think we all chose some pretty good ones. I didn't know if the chat had noticed, and if they would like to comment on our avatars, what they like or don't or dislike about them. I'm open to constructive criticism.
I think Fizzy Pop.
I already got giggles at mine.
Yeah,
joy. That's what that is. Joy.
No, I got to tell you something, Armor. I'm feeling really intimidated by yours. Your guy looks like he's about to come over on this side of my screen and kick my butt.
Yeah, he is quite intimidating. I must admit.
It looks like a football on steroids.
No, it's a football that is armored up.
Oh, yeah,
right. Armored up. He ain't roided up. He's armored up.
There you go. Okay.
CJ says they're all groovy. She likes them all.
Yeah. What did you guys think about the special Super Bowl esque sort of intro that I did there? If I had more time, I would have put a bunch of football things in there, and that would have made more sense. But hey,
I liked it. I was just worried we were going to get shut down for using that NFL song at the beginning.
Hey,
you only had a week to get it ready. I mean, what could you expect?
That NFL song is older than my broken the black fungus on my broken toe.
Yeah, you're right about that. I remember. I think they used to use it on the. I want to say HBO, like when they would do like a special like where they would talk about Joe Namath or some old or John Madden in his reign, and they would the football plays just look so cool and like slightly slow motion with that music playing behind it. I don't know how it all works together, but it was like a recipe that really worked well together.
Oh, yeah. Did you you just reminded me not of Joe Willie Namath, but of Joe, where are you going to go with that gun in your hand? Joe Montana. Joe Montana, did you see that commercial? Those kids are running with the football and they're telling them to take the football home and or take it home, not take the football home, but take it home, meaning take it to the football, the Super Bowl. And Joe Montana comes out and he had some guy, the valet, park his car, and the guy next to him, I forget who he was. I'm sure he's a football guy, but he asked him, he goes, did you tip him, Joe? And then Joe turns and goes, yeah, I tipped him all right. I don't know exactly what that was suggesting, but I'll just use my imagination.
All right.
That one definitely creeped me out.
Yeah.
Yeah, another interesting take I noticed when I was watching the game was San Francisco's kicker, field goal kicker, Robbie Gould. They mentioned that this is actually his second time being in the Super Bowl at Miami. And you know how rarely they come, how long it takes them to circle around and come back to another city. Mm-hmm. But early in his career, he played for Chicago, and he was in a Super Bowl. They lost that particular Super Bowl, but this is the second time that he's been in a Super Bowl game while playing in the Super Bowl in Miami.
Well, they do rotate a lot faster now that they only do it in domes.
Yeah, that's true.
All the fields, but yeah.
Let's see here. We were talking about that. I was starting to talk about that commercial about Snickers, where they dug the hole and they put the giant Snicker bars in the ground.
Yeah, that kind of reminded me of the 300 movie a little bit.
300.
Yeah, back in the day where they would drop people down in the hole or the
Oh,
like. I don't even know what I'm talking.
I
It
don't know
was
what's
like
wrong with
yeah,
this.
but go ahead. Yeah, I saw what you were talking about. I
It
saw the commercial.
it seemed like there was a lot of symbology in that commercial, and I think that's the one I was talking about. Had the old guy with the Siri. Um, no, I'm not spying on you. And then the other thing at the very end, after they dropped the Snicker bar into the ground, these youngins had their selfie stick, and they're let's take a selfie of this, and they fell backwards in the hole. I don't think I laughed quite as hard as I did in a long time since I saw that part. I'm like, yeah, that's what they. I'm like, yeah, that's what we're talking about most of the time. We're talking about how millennials, and I'm not trying to generalize millennials altogether in one clump. How most millennials do is they look at that little black mirror box and they're paying more attention to it than the world around them. And I think that was part of the symbology in that commercial. Don't you agree, everybody?
I can definitely see what you're saying. Um, I saw a video recently where they were showing clips from the old Superman movies back, like the Superman 1 or 2. I think it was Superman 1, maybe it was 2, where they put the bad guys in that, like encapsulated them in that black
Oh,
mirror.
yeah, the prism. What was that called again? Oh man, you would think I would know this one right off the top of my head. Um, the it was called the the oh crap. Never mind. Just go ahead.
Well, anyway, it kind of I think that could have been some form of predictive programming in a weird kind of way, because we're all kind of trapped in our own black mirror while we're staring at our phones all the time.
Yep.
Dang,
Yep.
I have it. Uh, the Phantom Zone. The Phantom Zone.
Yeah, the Phantom Zone. That's what I'm gonna call it from now on. When I see somebody walking down the street, crossing through a busy crosswalk where they could be hit by a car, well, don't worry about them. They'll be okay. They're in the Phantom Zone. Well, I guess it wasn't that funny. Either that or everybody left.
I'm sorry. I went to go refill my glass. Um,
Thought it was good.
I heard it. One of the funniest ones I thought was in the Super Bowl ad was the Tide commercial that featured Charlie from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he got that stain on his shirt, and it was kind of like a mini series. He would enter different commercials throughout the game, and at the very end, it showed him with the stain on his shirt, and then Wonder Woman showed up, and Wonder Woman was like, "That stain can wait." And I thought, "Oh man, that's awesome!" They had Wonder Woman, and it wasn't just someone dressed in a Wonder Woman costume; it was the actual person who played Wonder Woman in the movies.
Well, it wasn't the old Linda Carter Wonder Woman. It was the one that plays her now, right?
Right, the one in the movies, not the TV show.
Okay.
Yeah. That was so hilarious when they did that. Because if you guys, I don't know if you guys watch It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but he was playing the exact character that he plays on the show, basically.
I have seen the show, but I don't watch it all the time or anything.
Oh man, if you did, you get the context in which that was. It would have made it that much. Not saying it wasn't funny, but it would have
I
made
mean,
it.
I got the humor in it.
Right.
I see what you're saying.
But he even runs into those Bud Light guys, the knights from the old the Old Republic, or not the Old Republic. Why am I always thinking of Star Wars? The knights from the beer. Oh wait, you don't watch TV. Never mind.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't really my wheelhouse. Things television related. I mean, unless you're going to go back into the 80s and 90s, back when I used to watch TV.
Now, those were the days when they used to know how to make commercials. I mean, Spuds McKenzie, the Budweiser horses, the frogs. I mean, come on, man. Who doesn't like those frogs? Oh, by the
You
way,
know, it's funny you mentioned that because that gives you perspective. Because you have to remember, like, I mean, I don't know how much it is you want to say it's changed or how much it stayed the same. But if you go back to like the Bud Bowl and the Spuds McKenzie and the Where's the Beef and those things, they became such a part of like everyday jargon and culture. Like you people at work the next day would all be saying Bud Wise or they would be going, oh, what was the other one?
what's
Uh,
up?
What's up? Yeah, everybody just knew what it was. And you could go up to anybody random on the street and you would know that they're going to, a fellow indoctrinee would be able to go, what's up with you?
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of the commercials we just watched tonight where that's actually going to be the case, where it actually changes the culture to the point where everybody is influenced to the point where they're saying it or doing it. I don't know that. Do you think it just has? Do you think it still has the same grasp?
No,
Do you think it's improved or weakened?
To me, in my opinion, I don't think it's going to have the same impact. It's like those commercials were very memorable and they were very quotable and everybody knew it. Like you said, you could come up to just about anybody and say, what's up? And they knew exactly what the heck you were talking about. But these commercials nowadays, they don't know how to resonate with anyone. They don't know how to make a commercial to where it sticks with you and gets in there. And like they even had to go back and use the frogs again, but they didn't use the frogs as a Budweiser commercial. I noticed somebody used them as some other kind of, I don't know, stupid internet thing or whatever. But yeah, those old commercials, man, they don't make them like they used to. You know what I mean? Like,
Oh, I agree with you that they don't make them like they used to. But do you think that that's so much the case? Or is it like just the fact that now that there's so many different outlets and everybody's just so ADHD that nothing just seems nothing just seems to catch on for longer than a day or two. And if something is going to kind of trend like that, it has to do it on a social media platform. TV just don't have the same impact as it used to have. Do you guys think that might be the case a little bit as well?
Well, that, and I think they've basically dumbed down society so much that there's no creativity left. I mean, that's why there's so many remakes of old movies and everything else. Creativity's gone.
Yeah, I think it's probably a combination of all three of those things.
Yeah, like I agree with Armor, and I'll tell you, I guarantee you, for an example, you could pass anyone on the street today, to this very day, I guess depending on what age group they're in, and you could still hear people saying "What's up" or whatever. I think Armor still says it every once in a while. I hear.
Oh, me and Dan do it a lot, and I do it sometimes. But yeah, I usually always do it to Dan. Like, what's up? He's like, what's up? Yeah, we do it all the time.
Yeah, you definitely, like, I don't think 10 or 20 years from now down the road you're going to hear anyone shouting the catchphrase oh, maybe, you know what, maybe the Snickers commercials, like they had, I guess it was last year and the year before that, where The guy would be hungry, and then he would turn into Joe Pesci or something like that, and then later when he ate the Snickers bar, he'd turn back to his regular self. I think those might have caught on some. Probably not.
Yeah, the you're not yourself when you're hungry thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say that's probably the closest thing recently that I can think of. If you had to pick a commercial out of that you watched, on the Super Bowl or recently that was even close to that, you would say it was probably the Snickers.
Oh yeah. Nobody's going to be quoting the memory commercial, which was a very touchy commercial, by the way. Don't say anything, but you know what I'm talking.
I think that Planters commercial is really going to trend a lot too. I think a lot of people are going to be talking about that, and just like Armor said, that's another copy. I mean, I think they're really copying off that whole Baby Yoda from the popularity of Baby Yoda on the Mandalorian. They're trying to kind of suck off that a little bit, off the success of that.
Yeah, I think that commercial was probably the creepiest one of the night for me.
The Baby Peanut?
No, the memory one. If it's the one I'm of.
Really?
Yeah, I'm not. I don't refresh my memory. I know I had to seen it. What was the memory one?
He replaced his wife with AI.
Oh no, I didn't see that. I probably would agree with you if I had.
I didn't really even see it that way. But
creepy ass commercial, man. Me and the wife just sat here and looked at each other like, really? This is insane.
Now that you mentioned it, I thought he was just looking at pictures and stuff of his wife and trying to remember her because he had dementia or something.
Well, I'm sure that's what it was leaning towards. But yeah, I don't look at things on the surface anymore. I don't watch TV much, but when I do, I'm breaking it down. Of course, it was all about an Alzheimer's patient or whatever, trying to retain his memories in case he forgot. But yeah, that ain't what it was really about. He replaced his wife with a friggin' AI, basically. She may have died, or she must have died, but either way, you've replaced the feeling of another human being with an AI quoting back to you what they used to like.
Yeah. I think that now you mentioned that and how you said that you and your wife looked at each other. I think that's cool that you guys are on that same wavelength and can do that, because you just made me realize that my next future relationship, girlfriend or whatever, is going to have to be able to do that with me. Like, I am not going to want to have to sit here and explain symbology and symbolism and programming, predictive programming and all that stuff to whoever I'm watching anything with in the future. That would just make for too much effort, because we would not enjoy watching it together if she's stuck on the superficial construct and I'm trying to break down the deep esoterical meaning of it.
Yeah, I'm definitely blessed. That's for sure. Yeah, we looked at each other quite a lot during the commercials. Like, wow, it was all out this year. I mean, I ain't even going to get into it. Like I said, I'll watch the guys that break it down, but yeah, they were pushing quite a few agendas this year.
Oh, yeah. I know what you say. Yeah, I won't get into that on the air, but yeah, I know what you're talking about. So,
I did have
wait.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Real quick. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second, but I gained it back. The train went back on the track, so to speak.
Choo choo.
What's that noise? It's a train. What's that noise? It's insane. What's that noise? It's a train. Here comes the train. Da, 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 da. Yeah. But the thing is, like you said, you're right. I do watch a lot of these commercials and stuff, and I don't scratch underneath the surface a lot, and I should, being who I am and where I've come from thus far, and this sort of having my eyes open and stuff like that. You'd think I would, but as far as that goes, sometimes like that commercial, it just kind of went over my head, and it was just one of those things where, yeah, if you look into it deep enough, which I'm sure is true with everything, if you look into them deep enough, you could see the symbology in those commercials. You could see the agenda that each one is pushing. And you're right, man. I just wanted to say that. Now, Saji, I believe you had something important to say. I'm sorry.
I don't have nothing any more important than anything else I ever say. But yeah, I don't know. There can be a lot to just kind of turning it off for a little while too, and just sitting there and enjoying the show. I mean, you are allowed to do that, I guess, from time to time, and it's hard for me to turn it off and
Yeah.
just like the MC Hammer commercial earlier when you were talking about that. I was rolling my eyes at it. I'm like, talk about exploitation. That was about as obvious exploitation of MC Hammer as you could possibly get. And it seemed like he was totally okay with it. So if he's okay with exploiting his own image to sell a few Cheetos, then I guess who am I to have a problem with it, right?
Well, sometimes, it's just like watching a movie. Sometimes you have to suspend your belief in reality for a few hours, and sometimes you have to just go, okay, well, it's just a movie, and I'm going to treat it as such, and sometimes you have to just enjoy it for what it is, just a movie. But it isn't easy to do. You have to take off those true rose colored glasses and throw them to the side for a while in order to enjoy a show or a movie or something like that. And you can do it. You can just enjoy it for what it
I
is.
just for the record, I was not wearing my tinfoil hat, and I was wearing violet colored glasses.
Oh, okay. The vine,
Mine
yeah,
are bifocals.
huh?
I got bifocals.
Oh, yeah. Oh boy. But no, but man, you got to turn your dumb switch on, is what I like to call it. Also, sometimes you just got to turn that dumb switch on and sit back and just be entertained, and that's all it is a lot of times. But yeah, um, I probably tend to do that more than many that are in our community, and I do miss the symbology in some of these ads, commercials, TV shows, movies, and stuff like that when I do that. So that's probably a bad thing. But sometimes, then gummit, you just gotta turn on that dumb switch and just sit back and enjoy yourself. So I can definitely do that. And when I saw the MC Hammer commercial, I didn't think anything of it. Then it was just a funny commercial. You know what I mean?
Well, see,
Yeah,
I enjoy the shows and don't have to turn my dumb switch off because, like I said, me and my wife, we like catching all the stuff. But that don't like Survivor. That's the whole reason I watch Survivor. You watch Survivor, it'll basically tell you everything they're going to push hard that year. I mean, guaranteed. Survivor's been on forever, and yeah, it's definitely like a playbook for what they're going to push that year when Survivor's on. The new one's starting, so I'll be eager to see what they're pushing this time. But I mean, just look back at the very first Survivor. A gay man won it, who ran around the island naked most of the show, and boom, look at where we're at now. You see what I'm saying? It ain't hard to figure out. Survivor is like one of the most symbolic. That's why I like watching it, because man, there's so much symbolism in Survivor. So much. I mean, it starts out with "this is what you covet." You know what I mean? I mean, it's so pure satanic, it's amazing. But That is one of the shows I do watch on TV, Survivor. And I watch my Chef Ramsay shows when they're on. And that's about it. Other than that, I don't. Our TV's never on, ever. If Survivor ain't on, it ain't on. If Chef Ramsay ain't on, it ain't on. I don't watch TV other than those shows. There's absolutely no other shows I watch.
I love my Chef Ramsay, man. I love watching that show, man. I tell you what.
Yeah, that's where I can just kick back and relax and enjoy. Because there ain't a lot to decipher in Chef Ramsay. He's just he is what he is. I mean, it's Hell's Kitchen. Come on. You know what you got going in. So
right.
Yeah. It's always amazing. Survivor, though, is just mind-blowing in the symbology they do year after year after year.
You know, I haven't watched Survivor in a long time, but I am recalling when I did used to watch it, and they have that whole immunity idol thing, and how much it's coveted, and all the different things that go along with having to vote people off the island and things of that nature. I can now that I'm thinking about watching it with the violet colored glasses on or off or whatever. I can see how I could see it a whole different way. So I might have to go revisit.
Oh, it's interesting. Survivors, like I said, there's definitely lots of stuff to catch in Survivor. That's why I like it so much. Plus, you get to see how sick our humankind basically is. They'll do anything for money.
Oh, yeah.
Stab each other in the back, lie, cheat, whatever. The better you do it, better chance you got to get in the money. The honest people.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. It's just as much a mental game as it is a physical one. That's for sure.
Oh yeah, it's way more mental than physical. Other than the immunities, and most of them aren't physical either. They're more mental.
So I did have an interesting story I was going to bring up, and here I'm going to look it up now. I had it earlier, but then I lost it, so just bear with me.
All right. Story time with Daddy.
What? What'd you say?
I said story time with Sadgie.
Oh, yes. We ain't had them in a while. I've been disappointed, but I didn't want to.
Well, it's not really a story, guys. It's just the article I'm bringing up.
Oh, doggone it.
Oh, see, got my hopes up. Thanks, Hebrew.
Hey, just stay on your side over there. They'll come rushing at me with your big old football arms.
Yeah.
You're the macho football.
The football man.
Man. Hold on, guys. My ear itches. I gotta mute up while I scratch my inner ear.
Hey, Preliminal said they're talking about the East Coast Mandela Conference being in Asheville, North Carolina. That ain't too bad. That's probably 10, 12 hours from me, I'd imagine. Maybe 14, 10, 12 hours, I'd imagine. It'd probably be cool. Asheville is a nice little area. I've drove through it before when we went to Kentucky on the bikes. I drove through Asheville.
Speaking of
actually, it's sort of a Mandela effect for me because I could have swore when we went to Kentucky, we got to Asheville and basically just entered Kentucky. But now Asheville is North Carolina. So,
wow.
Sort of a personal, weird little Mandela effect.
That's cool. Not cool that you have that effect, but I mean, cool that there's going to be that conference.
Yeah. About 20 hours for prelim. Well, I'm closer than prelim at least. Yeah, I figure I can be in Nashville. Probably, I'd imagine it's about 12 hours.
Yeah.
Let me just map quest and see. Directions.
While you're doing that, looking that up, I want to just mention I muted up a while ago to scratch my inner ear. And a lot of people say, well, that's weird. Why is Hebrew talking about scratching his inner ear? That's not safe to do. I tell you, I once knew a guy that scratched his inner ear with his keys. Like he would take his car key or whatever and stick it in his ear and dig out earwax. I always thought that was very weird. Very unsafe.
We've got a lot closer than we used to be. That's crazy. Of course, that's using the highway. I don't go the highway, so that's why it's okay. I was gonna say there ain't no way. It's saying Asheville 8.5 hours from me. And now Asheville, that's right. It don't even border Kentucky anymore. That's a major weird Mandela for me. It borders Tennessee now, and yeah, it's all wrong. It's all so wrong. Me and Dan's talked about that before. That blew my mind before. Asheville is now North Carolina. It don't even border Kentucky, let alone in Kentucky. It's like so weird.
Well, I got to tell you something real quick. You got me curious now as to how far it is from me. I'm gonna look that up. I'm gonna mute up, and you have a run with it, man.
Oh yay! Yeah, that's just weird. So weird. Huh. Oh well. Yeah, that would probably be cool prelim. Asheville would be pretty cool. Like I said, when I was there, it was pretty, but it ain't even where it used to be. So, but I imagine being on the border of Tennessee and North Carolina, it's nice country.
It's 7 hours for me.
Cool. Yeah, it should be not far from. I'd imagine like the Smoky Mountains and stuff.
Speaking of Smoky Mountains, we seem to have lost Aggie.
Yeah, I don't know where he went.
He went on a Smoky Mountain high.
No, I'm back. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
I shared a PDF document or image or whatever in our Discord server, Armor. I didn't know if you wanted to bring it up so you see what I'm talking about. If you guys want to screen share it or whatever. But make a long story short, the state of New York can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah, I got to turn my Discord on.
All right, yeah, and be sure to turn it right back off after you're done, because sometimes it'll eat up your bandwidth. I don't know how much bandwidth you got, but that's a tip I heard. When you're live streaming, you don't want to leave Discord open.
Well, he's at Discord. I do want to bring something up.
All right. Well, I was about to share something, but go ahead.
We were talking about this the other night. I noticed I caught myself saying the word "guilty." I said it guilty like that. And I think what happened was Armor has a habit of saying the word guilty. Like he says guilty is what he says guilty. And I think what I was doing without even realizing it is I was sort of parroting what he was saying without even I just want you to know, Armor, I wasn't making fun of you or anything. I just kind of did it because I was hearing you say it, and I just kind of reverb back to me, and I was saying that way. After a while, I tend to do that, and I do apologize for that. By the way, I am guilty of it.
Are
No
you
problem.
guilty?
I don't even know what you're talking about. So no problem.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I mean that's a common thing and the normal thing to happen. Like if you could travel to a different part of the country where there's a different accent, you're going to come back home later and everybody's going to slightly hear that accent on you. You know what I mean?
Okay, this thing you sent me is park and recreation. Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, the city of New York has decided to make require a permit for stargazing.
huh?
Yeah, you can't make this stuff up. But
There you go. I'm sharing it. So
all right,
All right.
and,
let me know where you want me to scroll to.
yeah, it's a real thing. It's the fee is $35, $60 if you're out of state. Vehicle registration and driver's license is required. It allows after sunset parking for stargazing only. In certain parks, like they list the names of the different parks here.
Wait a minute, brother. What I'm saying is talking about fishing. Where do I got to go for the stargazing? Is it down or?
I thought it was the very first one on the PDF. Does it let you go through the different pages?
Oh, I got lots of pages. Oh, okay. Stargazing permit. All right, I found it. Carry on.
All right. They also make you buy a permit if you want to dive into the water. It's the regional diving permit, and it costs $80 for in-state residents and $125. And if you want to run your metal detector over dirt, you got to fork over $40, you peon, or you'll end up in jail. But the stargazing one in general really stood out to me. I mean, how can they charge you a fee to drive up to a park at night just to go look at the stars, and that's all you're allowed to do? And they insist that that's what you will be doing if you buy this permit. You can't go up there and make out with your girlfriend, which is what you're really buying a permit for. You're buying a permit to stargaze, quote unquote. What do you guys think about that? Whoever's chomping on the chips.
Oh, sorry.
I think that's pretty insane. That's what I think. It's as bad as I flipped out years ago. You actually, I mean, when I was growing up, we could take our inner tube, we'd float the river. River's right by me, you know what I mean? Juniata River. So
Right.
I grew up floating the river. I mean, we'd float the river. That's what we did. And now you got to pay permit to float an inner tube down the river. And you can only get in and out at certain places. Yeah, so I know Pennsylvania is just as insane. Pay to float the river. It's like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't get it. I mean, next thing you're going to need is a permit to ride your bike on the sidewalk.
You ain't allowed to run your bike on the sidewalk or walk around here.
But you know what I'm saying. Just, your kid wants to go out and get on a skateboard. He needs a permit. Your kid wants to. You want to build a tree house in your backyard. All you're going to need a builder's permit, a tree defamation. I mean, it's just like they're just trying to think of ways to make money off of you for any possible thing they can possibly think of.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy. Like I said, just to float the river, just to hop on an inner tube and float down the river, it costs you money now. It's like, how's that even legal? I mean, I don't understand.
Yeah. Can you imagine, like back in Mark Twain's day, some kid wanting to go out and take his little craft on the creek or something? We're not even when you say river, you're using the term loosely, like a back uphill river, not even like a main Ohio River or Mississippi River, where they actually have cargo going up and down it. No, I mean just a little backwoods river.
No boats on our river. I mean, there's little fishing boats, John boats we call them, but yeah, it ain't a It's the Juniata River. It's not big. It's just a little river, you know. I mean, it's deep, but it ain't like you said. It ain't the Susquehanna, which is a big river in Pennsylvania. That's down by Harrisburg. That's what this empties into. Or it ain't like the Ohio or the Monongahela or the Allegheny out by Pittsburgh, which are huge and has ferry boats and stuff. No, it's just normal little river. And yeah, you got to pay money to float on it.
But yeah, I just couldn't believe that they were doing that. I thought it was interesting. Your thoughts, Chip Muncher? You can unmute and talk for a minute, can't you?
Oh yeah. Well, here's the thing. You guys got me thinking about. It's getting bad out there. It really is. It's going to get to the point. It's going to get to the point where they're going to charge you $2, just to walk down the sidewalk. And it's going to get so bad that they're going to charge you just to use a porta potty at a construction zone. You know, it really is taking away all of our freedoms. I remember as a kid floating down the Mississippi on a tire tube and shooting turtles and with the 22. And that reminds me, speaking of shooting turtles with 22, let me ask you guys this. What is the difference between turtle soup and mock turtle soup? What's that mean?
Well, back in the day, people actually used to make turtle soup. It was actually one of my grandpa's favorite meals. He grew up in the back hills of Kentucky, and it was quite a popular dish back a long time ago out in the country.
Wow.
And
it was popular with my uncles also.
Yes, I mean it had a very unique flavor that was very from what I understand, it was very tasty. I remember my grandpa actually made it for me once. He had to actually go out and catch turtles to make it for me. Yeah. And but it became illegal to kill the turtles because the turtle species was at risk. People were in the price of the turtle meat was becoming expensive, and there was a whole turtle protection awareness thing that took place, and so they came up with mock turtle soup where it almost tastes the same, but it don't have no turtles in it.
Well, that's the thing I was talking about is, I mean, that's the reason why we were shooting them. We weren't shooting them just for fun and in jollies to get our jollies off. We were shooting them.
Why would you shoot a turtle? I mean, you could just pick it up.
Because they bite.
Well, if you pick them up properly, they can't bite you.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're going to kill them anyway to make your turtle soup.
But then you have to pull out all the. I mean, I don't know. It just seems okay. All right, my bad.
Most of the time, it was because they were on your fishing line, and then once they got on your fishing line, you really couldn't get them off the fishing line without shooting them. And,
okay.
And we were gonna. It ain't like we were gonna shoot them and then throw them back in the water for the fish to eat. You understand? We were gonna make turtle soup with them.
Right.
But I never heard of mock turtle soup because I always had the real stuff. So I was just wondering, you know, because I've had turtle soup, but I thought maybe there was a different kind of turtle out there. I thought maybe it was like a different kind of turtle, you know?
Right. Yeah. Mock, who's there? Turtle soup, who? I know what you mean.
Yeah. But Armor, what do you think about shooting them? Are you against that?
Well, I am now because, like Saji said, they got endangered. We don't kill them around here anymore either.
Okay.
But yeah, they will. They'll hurt you. And like you said, if you get them on your fish line, forget it.
Yep.
All you can do is cut the line and let them go.
Yeah, I only got to have the turtle soup once, and I mean, I thought it was okay. The way my grandpa described it to me was it was a really good delicacy that a lot of people really enjoyed back in the day.
Another reason why the turtles are becoming extinct because people keep hitting them with their cars.
Huh.
Yeah, we actually got a big turtle fence they put up along the new road they put in because I forget which type, I forget what the name of them are. The one type of turtles were getting run over every time they cross from the river to breed. So they put turtle fences up to protect them. They were getting
I
hit
tell
by.
you what, turtles are strong little boogers. I mean, I've picked them up before, even ones that you can just pick up with one hand, and just feeling its pull, that it has, and how strong its neck is and its legs are. Those things are like one strong muscle, man. They might not move fast, but they got a lot of oomph behind their movement.
Yeah, but I grew up in the woods, so I had lots of turtles. And I used to take my model paint and I'd paint numbers on them or markings so I could remember which turtle I'd already had. And because I wouldn't keep them, I'd just let them go. They were my friends in the woods. I
Yeah.
didn't take them or anything. But I took my model paint when I went to the woods and I'd paint little stripes on them or whatever. That way I'd know when I seen them again.
I had a friend that used to paint their shells. They used to paint back the shells, the colors of the Ninja Turtles. Like he'd get 4 turtles out of the river. By the way, did you guys ever float down the river in a rubber tube? That's what I was talking about, like a tire tube.
That's what I said. An energy.
Okay, I'm about 5 steps behind you. I'm sorry.
All right, so I got this other article, kind of related to the first one that I mentioned, but not exactly. It's related in the sense that it's about the stars, and this just is a recent story that just came out. Everybody's covering it from even the major news kind of briefly are doing skits on it, or your local news channels or whatever. But I don't know if you would call it a Mandela effect or how it might tie in, but I want to share the article with you guys, and then you can comment afterwards. Okay, we'll discuss it after I read it here. Right. I'm reading the Popular Science take on it. It's history would have us believe that the night sky is permanent and unchanging. After all, navigators have steered their ships using fixed stellar patterns for centuries. Our eyes still trace the same outlines of the same heroes and villains that stargazers have identified for millennia. But what if we just haven't been watching close enough? What if our night sky is changing? A group of astronomers aim to shake the assumption of stability with the vanishing and appearing sources during a century of observations. Vasco, a project comparing 70-year-old surveys with recent images of the night sky to see what might have gone missing. And after years of painstaking work, they recently announced their first results in the Astronomical Journal. At least 100 pinpricks of light that appeared in the mid-20th century skies may have gone dark today. The vanished light sources could represent short-lived flashes in the night, or possibly the disappearance of a lasting heavenly body. If researchers can indeed confirm what they're seeing, the study authors stress that while their preliminary findings almost certainly represent natural and well understood events, they hope that the future results will be relevant to astronomy and the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. But basically, make a long story short, they came to the conclusion that there are 600 million light sources that should have appeared in both data sets, and came up with about 150,000 candidates that appear to have winked out. And you know how they always tell us that for a star to disappear, it has to go like supernova, where it like gets extremely brighter, for a certain amount of time, and then it does like that whole black hole thing where it kind of sucks in on itself or whatever. But anyway, that's all fairy dust to me because it's the same thing as reading a fairy tale. But anyway, so they scrutinized the remaining 24,000 candidates one by one to see which represented real points of light as opposed to camera malfunction or similar accidents. And in the end, they found that about 100 out of created the first number was 600 million out of 600 million pinpricks of light. They could conclusively say that 100 have went missing. Now, what percentage is 100 out of 600 million? I mean, for this to even make a story in itself is kind of crazy. But for me, the way it kind of applies, it's just another thing that is changing, and they're trying to make up some type of elaborate excuse for it and ruling out all the other anomalies because the original number was 150,000 are missing, but they were able to, come up with 100, enough excuses to rule out all of them but 100. So, you guys got any thoughts or anything you want to say about that?
Yeah, I'm with you. That's like a small percentage. It's like funny because I remember I heard it when it first came out about 100 and some thousand stars are missing or something. And I didn't know they narrowed it down to 100. If anything, I would say it's more the stuff they've been spraying up there than anything. It's just blocking out the dimmer light.
Yeah, one of the theories I heard them mention was maybe the people that are surrounding that sun are using some type of solar panel to block out the sun because they've developed some type of solar panel technology to absorb energy. So now they're blocking the sun from our view. That was one of the theories. I guess I mean I could see how somebody would come up with that. But how about the possibility that it's just the sky's been Mandela like everything else?
Well, there's no doubt something's going on because, again, me and my wife talked a long time ago how we missed the color of the stars. I mean, stars used to have color. There was red stars, green stars, blue stars, white stars, all kind of pretty stars. Now they're all basically white. Stars haven't had colors for a long time.
Yeah. I even remember them being multicolor, like changing red, blue, and green almost.
Some would flash colors, some were solid colors. Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, we learned about them in school. Blue stars, red dwarfs. Yeah. Ours was yellow. Of course, that ain't anymore. I wonder what they teach them now. Can't teach us about the yellow sun. Yeah, there's no doubt the sky's insane. The moon's gone nuts. The stars are all just the same color. I haven't seen the Milky Way in forever. Used to always see it. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I wonder if the whole Milky Way not seeing it has anything to do with us changing from Sagittarius arm to Orion spur. I wonder if we just got a different view of it where it just doesn't. It's not as prominent in the night sky as it used to be.
It definitely ain't like it used to be. I guarantee that.
But yeah, that was really all I got. Hebrew, do you have any comments on the missing stars?
Did you say menacing stars?
Missing.
Oh,
where are you watching TV or something? Are you even on this show?
Yeah, I'm on the show, dude.
I mean, I just read a whole article about it.
Yeah, like I'm busy over here sending out invites.
Oh, okay.
But I do know what you're talking about. Like, for example, I'd step outside and I look up the sky, and there would be red stars. I remember there being red stars. I remember there being, like Armor was talking about, he remembered there being purple stars.
Oh,
Yeah.
did you? I didn't hear him say purple.
I
Did
didn't,
you say purple?
no, I didn't say purple, but carry on.
Okay. So, I think it would be safer to say that you weren't really paying attention, but that's okay.
Now wait a minute. If I wasn't paying attention, how did I know about the colors?
Well, you just made up a color that wasn't even mentioned.
Oh, but I do remember there being red stars.
Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead. I feel bad. I'm giving you too hard of a time. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Oh no, you can't give me too hard of a time. You know that. I can take it. But I do remember there being like you look off to the distance, you see like a red star burning in the sky, and you'd see like next thing you know, you'd look over, you'd see a blue star even. I remember the blue star. So yeah, I do know what you mean by colored stars that's gone missing.
Well, not only that, but just they're saying that 250,000 stars that used to exist no longer exist, just out of the blue.
Wait a minute, out of the blue?
Yeah, or the red or the purple.
Yeah. I just want to say hello. Everyone say hotel, motel. What you gonna do today? Say what? No, but you said red to the purple to the green and brown. Yeah. So no, man. Yeah, that doesn't seem right. It seems like it takes a really, really long time for even just one star to go supernova and just go and black out. I've seen
Right.
Star Trek. I know how it works.
Right? Yeah, according to this article, they've come up with some confabulated excuse for all but 100 of them. There's still 100 that they can't even come up with some type of crazy concocted theory as to how it could have happened.
Yeah, man, that is some crazy cockamamie thing. That's a lot of stars disappearing at once. That's more stars than disappeared. That's I'll come back to it and then I'll get it. Never mind.
All right.
That's more stars that disappeared on the Hall of Fame, the Walk of Fame.
All right.
I don't know. Go ahead.
No, that's pretty much it. That's all I had. I just wanted to bring that up. Anybody in chat have anything to say about it, Armor? Are you looking at chat?
Yeah, they're not saying too much about it.
All right.
CJ's got to go to bed. She's fading out on us. So peace, love, and hugs to you also, CJ. Vivian's here. She said it was a beautiful day in her neighborhood. Blue skies, no clouds.
Speaking of the weather,
Victor Fontaine says UFOs standing in front of them. LOL.
There you go.
oh, and the stars, yeah. Could be. Every once in a while, I look up to the sky. I look up to the sky and see. No, but nothing's bothering me.
Hey, you know something cool? Since we're talking about sky,
Sure.
my Wednesday word video, I think it's the one this week. I was putting in some of the sky pictures I have, and I got a sword, a giant sword in the sky. It's awesome. I got a dragon. I got all kind of cool stuff. So if you watch the Wednesday word, pay attention to some of the pictures. There's some cool stuff in there. There's even mercy written in the sky, but it's hard to see. But yeah, it's pretty awesome. I see all kind of cool stuff. That's why I take a lot of sky pictures and the way it goes. But yeah, the one's an obvious sword. Then there's like a dove. It's pretty cool. Giant dove. There's a dragon. It's a little hard to see, but you can tell it's a dragon.
I got to start taking sky pictures while I'm driving. I always see a lot of things in the sky while I'm driving, like cherubs and camels. There's usually elephants up there. I think one time I saw a great big dude with a beard, and he was pointing his finger at somebody. And there's always all kinds of cool things. Like I said, I saw cherubs and angels and stuff like that too. I tell you what, it's pretty amazing. But I don't think that I ought to be taking the pictures. I think maybe my wife should be taking the pictures.
Either that or you should let her drive, one or the other.
Well, yeah, true. But it's amazing how sometimes, like, I'll see something in the cloud, and then she'll see something almost the same thing what I see at the same time. You don't get those moments too often. A lot of times I'll see something and she won't see it. She'll see something else in it. So it's kind of interesting. You should send those pictures if you get any really good ones. Maybe we can air them on Shifty Sunday sometime. Armor?
Yeah, and when you were talking about how you sometimes see something and she'll see something else. Well, it probably helps when you guys are both like smoking the same thing at the same time.
No, very funny. Very funny. Oh man, my stomach's stretching out to its limit. You know what I noticed is I know what caused those marks on my side. When I lean over to go pick something up, my side is often leaning up against the arm of my chair. That reminds me, we should open up the phone lines. What do you think there, Armor? Or do you have some good news you want to share with us?
I got good news. And
Cool.
the phone is ready. So
All right. Well, while he reads the good news, why don't you go ahead and put the number up there on the banner?
Oh, I sure will. Maybe we'll get some interesting calls tonight. Let me know if this is the right number, though, before you start reading the good news. Okay, I'm going to put it up there. Let me know if that's it or not.
And if you want to call in, I mean, it's any subject you want to talk about, from something we may have mentioned already, to Super Bowl talk, to Super Bowl commercial talk, to halftime show talk, whatever it is you want to talk about, we're here.
yeah, that should be the right number. All right, let me
cool.
know when you're sharing.
All right, let me get your good news up and going. I always like your good news, man. It makes me feel good inside that there's not so much hatred and belligerity and the stress in the world, but there actually is some good news. So here we go.
The belligerent me is what really gets me.
Wait.
I mean,
Yeah, I know. There's about 4 other words I can't pronounce.
exactly. All right, watch this fun-loving owl have an absolute hoot when it discovers children's inflatable pool. Oh, see, forgot to put my reading glasses on. Hold on.
Okay.
If not, I got to hold my bifocals up, and that hurts my neck. So I put on my reading glasses. Okay. During a particularly hot English afternoon, this adorable owl spied a children's swimming pool and relished the opportunity for refreshment. The opportunistic tawny can be seen hopping into the makeshift bird bath, looking left and right for danger. Then it proceeds to dip its beak into the inches-deep water, checking out the potential. Getting its face wet was not quite enough, so the bird starts flapping its wings to make the water fly up in the air and rain down on its back. The clip was captured by renowned wildlife artist and photographer Robert E. Fuller at around midnight earlier this month. Fuller uses wildlife surveillance cameras in his garden near Moulton, North Yorkshire, to capture the after-dark goings-on that inspire his paintings. The paddling pool belongs to my children, but they hadn't really used it for a while, and it is filled with rainwater, said the English artist. When I spotted an owl chick using it to bathe in, I decided to direct one of my cameras onto the pool. Last year, I filmed some tawny owls bathing in my garden pond, he added. I was very surprised to see that their chicks had adopted the paddling pool for their own fun this year. Fuller said that the main reason the animals bathe is to clean their feathers, and the kiddie pool is just enough water to do that while keeping frisky feathered visitors safe and happy. All right, we'll watch the clip. Hold on, back up. Back up. There you go. There's the owl. Now, let me get the next one. He was pretty cool. All right, next. Let me know when you're sharing.
Sharing.
All right. Teacher moved to tears by students pulling money to replace his stolen shoes. A group of middle schoolers from Bellevue, Nebraska, is being praised across social media after they rallied together to surprise their teacher with a new pair of shoes. Earlier this month, Logan Fontanelle middle school teacher Trey Payne was heartbroken to discover that his favorite pair of sneakers had been stolen out of his classroom. Since the shoes were also rather expensive, Payne's students were particularly upset over the theft. The students then pooled their money in order to surprise their teacher with a brand new pair of replacement shoes, and Payne could hardly contain his emotions. In a video which has since been shared thousands of times across social media, Payne can be seen opening the shoebox and promptly bursting into tears. It's more than a pair of shoes. It's about doing things to build everyone up around you, said Payne. I try to show my kids this, and I think the lesson has sunk in for many, in turn, reaffirming my purpose and my ideals. And this one got a video news clip. Hopefully we won't get in trouble.
Yes.
You're gonna make me cry, girl.
Yep, that's the moment a Bellevue teacher learned just how much his students cared about him.
Well, Trey Payne's expensive basketball shoes were stolen out of his office. A number of eighth graders pitched in to buy him a replacement pair. KETV Newswatch 7's Waverly Monroe shares this heartwarming story.
I told the kids that it made my heart feel like it grew 3 sizes, like at the end of the Grinch.
In the living class at Logan Fontanelle Middle School, Trey Payne got an unexpected gift.
As soon as I picked it up and I felt the weight of the bag, I'm like, I think this is shoes.
And he's gave to us so much that he deserves it more than anyone.
After Payne's Kevin Durant 12s were stolen out of his office, he didn't think much of it, but some of his students wanted to help.
And we made a whole group chat, and we invited our friends too, and we thought they would donate money. So then we put all the money together, and then we ordered the shoes and gave them to them.
And that video says it all.
Oh my geez.
Oh,
Are you sick? Oh,
yes.
The video was posted on social media and quickly began to pick up steam. On TikTok, the video was shared over 24,000 times.
All this influx has been super overwhelming, but I feel really good.
And the students were surprised their video has reached as far as it has.
I just wanted the superintendent to see it, but then I've had reporters from Wisconsin, all over, retweeting it.
Days after the surprise, Payne is still in shock about the whole thing.
They're 8th graders, and for them to think outside of themselves, like that is a higher level thinking skill that they're technically not supposed to have yet.
His students say it's not about the shoes.
We want Mr. Payne to know that we love him and we care about him.
It's about making their teacher happy. Reporting in Bellevue, Waverly Monroe, KETV Newswatch 7.
There you go. We got one more.
Man, I tell you that's pretty awesome. Makes you wonder though, the people who originally stole his shoes, makes you wonder, like if they, them probably watching that, just what a piece of crap they must feel like watching that, knowing that they have the shoes.
You would hope that they might feel so bad or bad enough that they would be willing to be one of the people who contributed to the new pair of shoes. Not that that makes up for it by any stretch of the imagination, but their conscience might come into play. And actually, they were one of the bigger donors on replacing the shoes. I'm just saying.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's what I was trying to say.
And then the story about the owl, it reminded me of my mom and her husband. They had back when she was still alive. They had a pool in their backyard, an in-ground pool, and they had a couple ducks that would come, a male and female couple. They would come and they would nest in her pool, say every year around mid-March, end of February, beginning of March. When the cover was still on and they hadn't actually opened the pool yet, and started running the filter and all that kind of stuff. But I would come over with my dog, and she would always tell me, "Go out there and run those ducks out of my pool. Have Diesel run those ducks out of my pool." And I would take Diesel out back, and he would go out there, and as soon as he'd see the duck, he'd be like, "Arr," he'd go, "Arr," and the hairs on his back would stick up, and he'd go over there and try to scare him off or whatever. And then I left him over there one time for, I don't know, like a week or two, because I went on vacation. I forget where I went or what the exact reason was, but he stayed with my mom for almost probably like at least a week, if not 2 weeks. He was there, and I came over and I saw him out back, and I saw the ducks in the pool. And I was like, "Hey, go get the ducks. Get the ducks." And he looked at me, and he kind of like half went over to scare him. He really wasn't into it anymore. So I was like, "Well, what's going on?" I go back in. I tell my mom he won't. She's like, "They've done made friends." He's like,
That's cool.
Yeah, apparently he looks out for the ducks. Apparently another duck or another couple of ducks was trying to take over their territory in the pool, and he was out there one night helping them protect it. He ran off the other ducks.
That's a good story, man.
That's awesome.
Before we share this next news article, I do have a short story that kind of reminded me when you were telling your story. It kind of reminded me of my story, but it didn't have a happy ending. We was out rabbit hunting one day, and dogs was in the weed doing their thing. They were in the, and then all of a sudden my grandpa's buddy spotted a chicken snake out on the road. And the dogs had ran the rabbit in a circle. You know how they do. They run the rabbit in a circle till it comes out. And it had come out and it had crossed. All the dogs went over there except for one. One of our dogs went over there to that snake and started barking at it and was going to attack it and whatnot. I was like, "Oh, boy, that dog's got a set of balls on that, man." It just went up to the snake. It must have known it wasn't poisonous. I don't know. But anyway, my grandpa's buddy took his walking stick and he went down where the snake was, and he flung it in the weeds with his walking stick. So I don't know. I thought that was a pretty cool little story about a dog that is not intimidated by snakes. So there you go.
All right.
Now we'll share this news story. Good news.
All right. Watch the thundering return of bighorn sheep to Nevada land they haven't roamed for 100 years. With the help of a local Native American tribe, 21 desert bighorn sheep became part of an important reintroduction program to create a population of Nevada's state animal land in lands they've been absent from for almost 100 years. The animals were deposited on the shores and hills around Pyramid Lake near the Nevada-California border. We've recovered a species lost in time, Emily Hagler, a biologist for the Paiute tribe, told KTVN. It's been a main focus of the tribe for many years, recovering our fisheries, and now to be able to recover a large game species is incredibly tremendous. The Paiute of Pyramid Lake were heavily involved in the reintroduction efforts. In June of 2018, after consultation with bighorn sheep conservatist Larry Johnson, the tribe agreed to begin coordinating with the Department of Wildlife on the project. A November 2018 resolution that designated the bighorn sheep as a tribal species of protection was the launching point towards the capture and release of 17 ewes and 4 rams into an area where the last confirmed sighting of a desert bighorn was by pioneers heading west in the early 20th century. We've been trying to restore sheep to every possible mountain range that they lived in back in the day, Mike Cox told the Vegas Review-Journal, statewide bighorn sheep program coordinator and staff biologist for the department. All 21 sheep received a shiny brand new radio collar, and the ewes had a blood test to ensure they were pregnant. This way, at least a dozen lambs should be born onto the land in the spring of 2020 to help jumpstart the population and encourage the females to stay in the area, thus encouraging rambling rams to move into Pyramid Hills to breed the ewes in the fall and winter. It's a perfect opportunity to remove some of those and give them a little bit more space and then allow a herd to take off here and grow on their own, said Cox. And we got the video. There you go. Another one like the Eagles making the comeback. Now the sheep are making the comeback. Awesome. That's your good news for the week.
Yep, looks like you always like to save the best for last.
I try to mix them up.
When an endangered species comes back to life and starts renewing itself, it's awesome. I was just saying because you were talking about the Eagles.
Yep, the Eagles and now the sheep. And I did the one also about the humpbacks, I'm pretty sure, a while back. The humpbacks are making a big resurgence.
I do hope that was not from the National Wildlife, what do they call it? Because then I'll have to go back and take out the video.
Yeah, I hope not. I think that was from like a local, the people that released them.
Oh, okay. That's all good then. I'll probably my intro will probably get taken down anyway from we can't play the NFL football team. It's copyrighted. Sorry, you got to shut down the whole broadcast. That's just how I imagine YouTube talks. Sorry.
Yeah, they're pretty hard on sports stuff. I'll be surprised if you don't get in trouble.
Yeah. But it did have like my own little like pictures behind it, and no NFL stars were hurt in the making of that video. By the way, just want to say.
Hey, Lorraine Lamour in the house.
Lorraine Lamour's in the house?
Yep.
Huh. I see Vivian made it in here.
Yeah, I thought I showed up, Viv, already. You weren't paying attention as usual.
No, she's still here. Isn't she? Oh, sorry. But here's we got the phone number up there, so if anyone wants to call, we encourage you to do so. That number again is 720-835-5825, and the pin to get through is 64559. That pin again is 64559.
Wait, what'd you say the number was? 720-835.
Yep.
Okay.
720-835-5825. And don't forget, only one operator is standing by.
Lorraine said, did you see the Facebook ad for a comedy night, senior comedy night SR? I don't do the Facebook, so I didn't see it.
I have.
Oh, comedy night starring Lavelle Crawford. I heard he died months ago. Personally, I never heard of him or to Facebook. So you guys,
Right. I'm not on Facebook, but I wouldn't trust Facebook as my most reliable source. I would turn to, I would go online and see who else is reporting it, if anybody.
I got a question for you guys here and the people in chat. What is going on with Steve Harvey? I keep seeing on my computer and my email, it keeps popping up. Sad times for Steve Harvey. I don't know what the heck it's talking about. I know you and I mentioned last week, Saji, that I had told you that I thought Steve Harvey had died, and then you said that you checked that out yourself, and it's all just a bunch of BS.
Well, they use Steve Harvey a lot for clickbait. They come up with crazy things. I mean, they even had a whole little conspiracy thing going on with his like brother-in-law or something like that, having some type of legal issues. He was some type of I don't remember the specifics of it. He was caught up with the law somehow, and they're trying to associate that to a story with Steve Harvey, even though he had absolutely nothing to do with it, one way or the other. It just happens to be like a brother-in-law of his that got caught up in some type of legal drama. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, usually when I see an article like that, I just scroll down in the comments and see what the people in the comments are saying about it instead of actually clicking through the link itself. Yeah.
well, she said it was an ad by one of the comics that's in the show, talking about all the other comics that were going to be in it. So he's definitely in the show. The question is, did he die months ago, basically? She thinks he died months ago. It isn't a question of whether this guy's in a show. He's in a comic show coming up. But
okay, so he's in a show coming up, but she was under the impression that he had passed away recently.
yeah, she thought he died months ago. Like I said, I don't know. I've never even heard the name. But if anyone else out there knows Lavelle Crawford, do you remember him dying a few months ago? Because if so, he's going to be in a show soon.
And if you have a Lavelle Crawford story, please share it with us. You may do so by calling 720-835-5825. That PIN number again is 64559. Thank you.
Yeah, even if you don't have anything related to, what's his name again?
Lavelle Crawford?
Yeah, you can still call in. Just saying.
Yeah. If you want to talk about...
She said he played Huel in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul. I never watched either of them either, but if you guys watch them, he was in Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul.
I like the Breaking Bad was okay. It had its good and bad points, but the Better Call Saul, now that that show is pretty intriguing. I've actually seen it. I when I had Netflix or whatever, I binge watched like all of season one, and I don't know if I made it through season two or not before I started losing interest. But that was the show was just different than your average show.
This call is recorded.
So I know who she's talking about now.
Oh,
Cool. And we do have a caller.
awesome. And I just saw where Dan's going live in 30 minutes. So just putting that out there.
Yeah, it's movie night. He said he was going to do a movie night. All right, San Antonio, Texas. You are live. What's happening?
Well, I don't really have anything to say, but I figured y'all were really wanting to call, so I was like, I'll call in and just tell you about my day today.
Cool.
All right.
That's what we're
I for office because I have these two cabinets in here and I'm trying to change it up, and I had ordered this one and it came in the mail, and I was concerned about the size, and when it got here it was like an inch too short for books, but then it was actually missing a piece. Had to get all the parts back into the box and put that back together, and then I ordered another one online that ain't going to be here for a few days. So I'm skimming through all the stuff in my office that's laying on this like 12, literally like maybe it's about a 10-foot chaise lounge, just all my books and stuff, and I'm thinking, oh my God, I got such a mess here now. But yeah, I haven't had anything strange except a stalker. I went through some stalking, how to deal with somebody who was leaving flowers on my doorstep and acting crazy, and that was a bit scary last week, and I'm finished with that. I was able to get through that, but just basically could sure use a man to help me build a cabinet. I'll tell you. Hard to get some help.
You had one. You scared him away.
No, honey, you would have ran from him.
I don't know. I mean, back in my day, we used to give women flowers. They liked it. Just saying.
It's a little different when, okay, maybe I should reiterate, go back a little bit on it. I actually had got some flyers on my door for a person who does handyman service, and I am in the middle of trying to build a tiny house, do some more work on a tiny house that I have built in my backyard. And so I said, okay, well, this person might not be that expensive. Do what?
Is it a she shed?
No, it can be a he shed.
Oh no, I
it
mean
he or she or he. I guess it could be, it's really
it could
not.
Potentially even become a wee shed. But go ahead.
Right.
It could be a wee shed.
Yeah.
No, there's not enough room for wee. It's really beautiful out there. It really is.
Is there enough room? I'm sorry, Vivian, didn't mean to interrupt you. Is there enough room to have a Wii in there and play the Wii?
No, not a Wii game and move around. No, there's not.
Oh, okay. That's what I was wondering. All right, go ahead.
Yeah. You are too funny. But so anyway, it's already got like a TV out there. It's got, it's nice. The only thing it does right now, it just has like an RV sink and an RV toilet. It doesn't have, the plumbing yet to it or whatever. There's a lot of more work to be done to it for it to be where I want it to be. But anyway, so this man shows up to bid, this kind of loft I want to build in it and stuff. So I want to build like an upstairs, sort of a bunk upstairs, and then underneath it. Anyway, long story short, so he's out there trying to like not even take measurements or anything. I thought it was really weird because if I'm hiring you to do a job to bid for a particular thing, you would think you would pull out your tape measure, right? So he starts trying to like grab my hand, and I'm like, I was very uncomfortable, like seriously uncomfortable. So I said, okay, well, just, give me a bid another time, call me with your estimate, which at that point I was like, no, I don't want an estimate. So later on that afternoon, probably about 6 p.m., it was already dark out, I went up to the nail salon to do my nails, and I have, my home is very highly guarded, so I have cameras that send me messages if somebody's going to my door, or I can visit, I could physically see who's talking at my door. And so he was at my front door, and I was at the nail salon, and I was like, what are you doing there here? And he said, oh, he was just dropping off these flowers. And I was like, thank you, like not really, but, and then I said, well, I didn't want him to rob my house either because I wasn't on the property. So I just said, well, I'm at the nail salon around the corner. I'm not there right now. Just leave him at the door, So I really wasn't sure. I probably, at that point, I should have said, don't just take your flowers back. I don't want them, but I just wasn't thinking because I was kind of in shock. So next thing you know, he shows up to the nail salon, and he comes in there and he's standing over me while I'm getting my nails done. And Tommy, my nail man, is like, looking at me like, do you know this person? And I'm like, because he had kind of heard me talking to him right there while I was doing the nails while he was at my door. So I went over to wash my hands, because you go back and they put this like coat on your fingers. I went back to wash my hands and went back, and he had paid for my nails. Now I am creepily creeped out and uncomfortable. So it's time for me to leave the salon. It's about probably 7 now p.m. And I'm walking to my car, and he's acting like he's walking me to my car. And I'm thinking, oh God, God, please get rid of this creep. That's all I'm thinking. And so of course he's trying to manhandle me at my car, stop me, block me from getting in the car. And I'm like, and he actually used comments that stated like he owned me or something, like, oh, well, you're mine and all this kind of. So anyway, finally all the stalking stopped at about Thursday of this week, but it was a tough week for me because. So now let me ask you something, Armor. You don't really think that those were some nice flowers from a nice man, right?
Well, I mean, I wasn't there. I mean, like I said, back in the day, if I'd have bought a lady flowers and paid for her nails, she would have thanked me. But I
told him thank you, but I
wouldn't have blocked her from getting in the car. So if that happened, that's sort of creepy. But yeah, I wasn't there. I don't know, but maybe the guy likes you.
Wouldn't it be creepy if I do a bid on your house and oh my God, I come to do a bid on your house for work and I hit on you?
Well, not if I know you're single and I'm single and I find you attractive. Why would that be creepy?
Oh, that's super creepy, dude.
How do you meet people? I mean, what do you people do nowadays?
Oh, I'm not talking about.
I'm intrigued out. Ain't no wonder.
Sorry, I had to play that.
That's so funny. Okay, I'm not talking about. Dan asked me if I would like to maybe go on a date. Armorette. I'm not saying if the guy would have said, "Oh, I find you very attractive. Can I ask you out sometime?" Then it gives me the opportunity to say yes or no, that kind of thing. But I think kind of the whole pushing me and then trying to stalk me up at the nail salon, and then, it was just out of the ballpark. But I will tell you what I did do, because I wanted him to believe that it was his idea to walk away from the situation. So this is the next thing I did. He goes, well, I want to see you. And I said, well, you can call me on Thursday and ask me for an official date on Friday. Well, Thursday came and he called me and said, I want to see you now. I want to see you now. So he had my number because I'd called him, obviously, to get the bid. So I just referred and reiterated back to, no, that's not how this is happening. If you want, I told you I'm not free until Friday. So this person was just this was just sick. There was nothing.
I can see how it freaked you out. And it does seem like he was kind of aggressive about it. I mean, I get what Armor's saying too about, it's like he's taking normal protocol, but he's just taking that and then applying these like extreme, like super extreme, very forward approach, mixed in with it. But just the act of sending someone flowers in itself is a good thing, but or bringing you flowers, or and then maybe even the fact that he he took the initiative to show up at the salon. Still kind of borderline, but then when you start talking about how he's putting his hands on you and he's blocking your way and telling you he owns you, I mean, I can see how that kind of weirded you out a little bit.
You know what? I guess the way that I look at it is, of course I said thank you for the flowers. Of course I was like, oh, thank you. But it was like he wanted me to be indebted to him because of those flowers. He wanted me to, and I told him on the phone when he was going off on me about why won't you see me and all this stuff. I said, I didn't ask for any of this. I said, I didn't ask you for flowers. I didn't ask you to come up and pay for my nails. I didn't ask. I said, I told you thank you, but I said, but you act like I'm owing you something now.
Well, let me ask you this. I mean, had he not done all the extra to make you feel uncomfortable, had he just, was he an attractive person? Did he seem nice? Before he became stalker, somebody's watching me guy?
No, because when he first got there to bid the property stuff, I was in this tiny house with him, and he was literally just like blocking me from walking out my own door. Just very creepy. The whole thing was creepy.
So you wouldn't have been into him anyway, even if he hadn't started weirding you out and done all the crazy stuff. There was no chemistry as far as you were concerned from the get-go.
No, I didn't think that he wasn't good looking. He was a good looking man. That's not what I'm saying, y'all, but looks are not everything. I mean, he could be good looking.
Not just his appearance, not just his physical appearance. I mean, there was no chemistry on your side of the coin. You had no interest in him whatsoever.
I wouldn't say with the way he acted, yes, I found no interest in him because of how pretty he was. You're right. I don't know who's playing that.
I had to play that.
Is that Hebrew doing that?
Yeah, that would be Hebrew.
Hebrew, that is too funny. That's exactly how I felt. It would be like just because I buy you something, and I love it, man, to give me flowers, that's very nice. But if you're going to give me flowers and then try to throw yourself on me, and I don't even know you, you haven't even taken me on an official date, you're not, good God, that's just creep city. That was creep city. Yeah.
So how did you finally get it to stop? What did you have to get the police involved? What did you have to do?
No, what I did is I gave him the opportunity to push himself out of the picture and make it look like it was him. So I just told him, I said, look, if you're really wanting to take me out, I'm free Friday. Ask me on Thursday for dinner on Friday. Because I knew this would get rid of him. Do you understand? I knew he was after one thing. So he called me Thursday, and I figured he would ask me out, right? So he called me Thursday, and he goes, I want to see you. I want to see you. I said, well, I already told you on Wednesday, this is how to do it. Call me Thursday to ask me out for Friday. He had no intention of asking me out. He was trying to see if he could just come by and hang out something.
He just wanted a booty call, huh?
That's right. And I'm a very smart lady. I'm not looking for that. I want love in my life. And if I don't have that, I can just stay alone. I've been alone. See, Lorraine Lamore said flowers from someone you barely know is odd. It's too much too soon. Some controlling people give something because they're generous, but they're trying to manipulate us. It's true. He was trying to groom me toward a situation because then he said, when he walked me to the car, he said I was his.
And then I replied, it's a shame that society has made females feel that way. And
That's sad, right? It is sad. You know what I was going to tell you too, Armor? Is that, do you know where this man was from? And it freaked me out so bad when I looked it up later. He was from Honduras. And if you know anything, this is going to be a good topic here for a second. If you look up Honduras, Honduras has what they call femicide there right now. And that's where they're literally cutting the feet off of the women and killing the women. Every 13 hours, a woman is brutally murdered in Honduras, and the police will not do anything to help her. So you can find Honduras, what's it like to live in Honduras, on the videos on YouTube on number 1 and number 2, and they have a whole like 1 and 2 videos of there's a whole documentaries on it. And these women cannot, some of them, the America won't let them come in to America to get away. And yeah, this is it's pretty, yeah,
Well,
it's pretty scary. Did y'all ever hear that? What goes on in Honduras?
well, yeah. I mean, there's all kind of nasty stuff everywhere, but we can't. I mean, that don't mean every man from Honduras wants to cut the women's feet off. I mean,
Well, it doesn't. But what was really weird is his mother was dead at 57, and you know, because he had mentioned that his mom died at 57 years old, and I thought, well, was the dad controlling and killing? Because don't you teach if you're going to teach your son to give flowers to a woman, I'm sure you're not going to teach him give flowers to a woman and then tell her I own you now, right? It'd be like if I'm just going to come to your door, Armor, and knock on it and say, here's some flowers. An hour later, oh, I own you.
Yeah, no, I mean, if he actually said things like that, I mean, I don't know whether he said these things or you're feeling these things, so I can't really say
No,
either
he
way.
said them verbally.
He said, I own you now.
Not
I give you
feeling
flowers,
them.
so now I own you. That's what he said.
Yeah, he basically, when he walked me to the car, he said, you're mine.
Oh, okay, now creep. Exactly. If he actually
Okay,
said
good.
that.
Now, see, I'm trying to get young men to help me out here, not. I mean, I tried when he put the flowers there. I was like, thank you. You know, I wasn't mean about it. I was like, oh, that's really sweet. And then when he walked into the nail salon, he had torn a piece of one of the flowers off, like broke a top of a flower off. And he came in and he dropped it on the place where the guy was doing my nails. What if he would have dropped it where my nails were being done? That would have been like, it was just kind of like right there. And then then the guy told him, the owner of the shop asked him to sit down, and he wouldn't sit down. He would just like, I mean, literally, I felt this. I'm real good about feeling people too, so I could sense this, but it was kind of like, of course, I was tossed between the thought, you know, was I being too harsh? But then then the whole, you're mine, and I'm not going to let you in your car door because you're going to kiss me. And I'm like, I'm not kissing you. You know, you've never even, okay, come on. Do you all men agree? At least a date for dinner before a first kiss. Is that
absolutely
reasonable?
Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, see, I need men on this. Yeah. Need you men on this.
It's safe to say he's not going to be the guy you're going to hire to do your shed.
But oh no. You know what, too? Being the person I am, and I'm just going to give you all a little history here. Growing up, my family was very conditional. And so I refuse. It's really hard as it is for me to receive from people. So I've been 38 years by myself, but it's been really hard to receive because there's always, you know, not always, but 90% of the time, there's going to be a condition behind it. So here I was already feeling guilty for having accepted the flowers until it hit me that, well, wait a minute. I didn't ask for any of this. You know, I didn't, you know, that's not something I went out and said, could you buy me flowers? Could you do my nails? You know, I hate to say this, Armor, but I was paying for my own nails, even if it was on credit.
My wife, and when she was my girlfriend before that, never asked for anything I bought her. Not once.
Good. I never asked for nothing.
Exactly. Neither did my girlfriend who became my wife. That's my point. I hate the way men think. We don't wait for you to ask.
Yeah, normal men don't think that way. They don't think because they bought you something that you're now their property just because they gave you some flowers or paid for your nails done. I mean, granted, they're hoping that they're going to get somewhere with you. They're hopeful that this woo technique is going to equal in results, but they don't feel a sense of ownership from it.
Where if he was trying to get somewhere, don't you think that He should have then said, okay, let's do dinner. Let's go out. Let's do that. But he wanted one thing, obviously. He was pushing and pushing Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Let me come to your place. Let me come over. Let me come see you. Let me come hang out with you. Let me do. No, nobody's going to just come hang out. Mm-mm. You know what hangout stands for nowadays, you know. I have this little 23-year-old girl. She's like a granddaughter to me. She was the one that was the sister of the girl that was killed at that Southern Baptist shooting. She's like literally an adopted granddaughter to me. I took care of her since she was like the one that got killed. I've known them both since they were 4 and 6. But
Yeah.
she told me, I was trying to tell her that the other day. I said, a guy comes and tells you he wants to come hang out with you, be careful because he's trying to hang something out. And she told me right out, straight out, blunt. She said, Grandma, you are right. Because she's 21 and she's already been down that road. It's not every guy. I'm sure that you men who are already married, already have successful marriages, are obviously not creeps. But there are some creepy people, you know, making physical moves on women without their permission, you know. But I mean, if he would have went about it like all the way different, then he wouldn't have been the person he is. And maybe I would have said yes, you know, to a date or something.
Yeah, you know, it's funny you bring up getting your nails done and guys paying for it and whatnot. When I was still married, and this is a long time ago in a galaxy far away, I was in my, you know, mid to late 20s. And,
in a galaxy far away. That's me too.
But I used to every on my wife's birthday every year, I used to pay for her to get her nail. I had a particular salon. I would get her basically a day at the spa, and it included getting her nails done. That was part of the day at the spa. And for like 2 or 3 years, even after we got divorced, I still bought her that for her birthday, even though I knew it wasn't going to be anything for me in the thing. I just did it for her because I knew it was something that I could do for her that was nice. Yeah.
I don't mind my nails being paid for. Please don't get me wrong. I would love a man to take care of me and be there, and I take care of him, and I have something to offer back. But what could I give back to somebody that I don't even know, that I'm not
right.
even?
But the point I'm trying to make is it shouldn't, just because when a guy does something like that, it's not supposed to equal ownership, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Well, that was nice of you to still. Yes, and if I would, but I mean, it wasn't even like I went out and said, you know, I would never just use somebody or nothing like that. I can do for myself. I've been single now. Good night. I'm almost 38 years single, so you know, I don't need to have anybody else do anything for me. Not that I wouldn't welcome somebody being in my life and caring for me and stuff like that, but I want to be able to be with somebody that I know I'm going to reciprocate. And I'm not going to reciprocate with somebody who is throwing himself at me like some kind of crazy man. That's definitely not happening.
Well, I'm sorry that you had to go through all that, but I guess on some weird level, you had at least you know your men still find you attractive, and you know maybe you'll find the right one will come along.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really need that either. You know how like there's always these girls are always telling me like, well, you at least you get them hitting on you. I'm like, oh my God, I would rather not with the type of men that try to hit on me, you know, or just I would like rather it not. You know, I don't need all that kind of flattery and stuff. I mean, I could laugh and say, oh yeah, well, I still am attractive for my age, but I'm saying that attraction is only in the eyes of the beholder. It has nothing to do with what you look like. Most people who are attracted to each other are attracted to where they're at spiritually. So for instance, if you've ever dated a girl when you were younger and then you look at her 20, 30 years later and you look at her and go, oh my God, what was I thinking? It's usually because you moved on spiritually from that energy. That's just my opinion of it, you know? So to me, it doesn't make a difference if you know men still find me attractive or not. What makes a difference is what I've got to. Can I also have something to offer back in a situation? And if I wouldn't want to offer back to somebody who was really pushy, you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, it sounds to me like you at the same. I mean, it sounds to me like you have this is a reoccurring issue with you. and there might be a little bit to the thing that you're putting up walls and blockers too. You might want to just consider that as that might be part of the equation. I'm not trying to give you a hard time or say that you were in the wrong and what just happened or anything like that. But
I'm open to what you're saying, but let me go back a little bit. Let's go back about 3 months ago. 3 months ago was my first time deciding that I'm going to open myself up to dating, really open myself up to dating for the first time in it'll be almost 7 years. Okay. But almost, I guess at that time, like 6.5 or something like that. And the only two guys that took me out, this one guy had asked me out literally once a month for 15 months. Would you please let me take you out? And then I just really wasn't ready to go date. And then finally I said yes. And we get on the date and we're sitting, this love life tonight. We're sitting at the restaurant and he tells me he lives with this baby's mother. And I said, oh no, I'm not looking for a triangle here. And I said, well, are you going through a separation? Are you getting ready for a divorce? What is your deal? Of course, I asked him. I didn't just get up and walk off the table. I was curious. And he said, no, he's not going to leave her. He takes her to every place he moves. And she and the baby come along because she's the mother of his baby. And he said, and he doesn't want to leave her until the baby's old enough to understand. The baby's 18 months old. So I said, well, I'm not even going to say see you in 20 years. You know what I mean? That was crazy. So that was a waste of my energy. And then I did go out with this one other guy. I was asked out, and he was in his mid-30s as well. And he took me out, believe it or not, to a nice little Italian restaurant. It was real nice and everything. And then I was telling him that I'm writing a book and, I'm in the middle of doing that. And, sometimes it would be nice to have somebody I could read to, to do the correcting. And he's like, oh, that's awesome. That sounds great. I'd love to do that with you. So I figured that was our first date. And then let's just see if we could, do something actually together besides, what most people try to do together. I'm not a young woman. The end of this month is my birthday. So, it ended up that that Sunday coming up, I was busy, but then I got freed up and he said, well, if you get freed up, call me. So I did. And I wasn't sure because he was young, to me, that was way younger than me. And then he said, oh yeah, he goes, I slept most of the day today, so I'm wide awake. Hey, I'd love to come over and listen to part of your book or whatever. So we sit down by the computer and I start to read to him and he says, oh, I'm just kind of tired. So he was just there to try to, see if he wasn't. I'm trying not to laugh at this, but it is kind of funny because his thought was, he would get over here and then he would try to hang something out at me. And that wasn't going to happen. So I gave up for a little bit longer, but I didn't necessarily have my wall up at all. But I could see where in the past, prior to 4 months ago, where, I'm gun shy. I really am. And even now, especially because I wasn't even asking for somebody to try to hit on me. And they were here for a purpose to come and bid a project, not to come here and try to assault me in my home and then come back and give me flowers for the assault. It's pretty messed up because he's trying to grab me and blocking my door. And, it's the way I look at it like this. Most women, they're out with a guy and they think to themselves,
let me ask you this, Vivian. So this guy's someone who I guess is a handyman that comes and does bids. He assaulted you, and you didn't go to the police so he can go to some other girl's house who may not be as strong.
Because it wasn't that big of an assault. He was trying to grab my hand. He was trying to stop me from walking out. He didn't rape me. Okay, so in San Antonio, they're going to just laugh that off.
I'm confused also because you said that after he did this, you did turn around and told him, well, if you want to date with me, why don't you ask me out?
No, listen, I told him that so he would be.
Yeah, but.
And all these things. I told him that, Hebrew, listen, so that he would, because I knew he wouldn't ask me out on that date. I knew that would be my way out. I'm not stupid. I knew that he was looking for one thing because he kept trying to push to come over. So if I told him, if you want to ask me out officially on Thursday for Friday, I knew it would be over after that, and it was, because he wasn't going to ask me out, because his plan was just to try
But
to use me.
don't you understand, Vivian? And I agree, this dude was wrong. I'm not trying to defend this
I had
dude
to
in
be
any way.
careful.
But don't you
No, I know
understand
you're
that would make that guy think you may have an interest in him? I mean, come
No,
on.
it was prior to that he made all the, forget it.
I
It was
know, I'm
prior
saying
to that
after
he
he
did all
did
the
that.
other stuff.
But after he did that, you told him to call you for a date.
No. That's not how I said it. Let me try to reiterate.
Okay.
When he said, I want to see you, I told him I don't just see men. They ask me out on official dates. If that's something that you wanted to do, you do it this way. That's the way, what I was saying to him. I wasn't necessarily, and all the things he did was in one day. So if I wasn't leading him on at all, I didn't call him, I didn't text him, I wanted nothing to do with him. But when he kept calling me, finally I picked up the phone and said, no, this isn't, and I was very clear. It was not, I just think he was real abusive, looking for, I'm trying to read what's your name say. Flowers and saying, too much, too pushy, real true. See, it wasn't, if a guy, like if somebody brought me flowers that wasn't like trying to grab my hand, I don't think anybody should come into a person's home for a bid and be trying to throw themselves at somebody. Do y'all agree to that?
Yeah, and I think that if he made you feel uncomfortable, at the very least.
And then I didn't want to die.
Yeah, you should. I mean, did he work for a company or was he self contractor? I mean,
he has his own company. He has his own company and his own company logo and his own truck, and he has all of his cousins. They all work for him, and so it's a company of about 17 to 19 people. But he was the one who does all the bids and stuff. And so my thought is, I had to make it look like it would be his choice not. If I could make it difficult for him, then he wasn't going to come through. So at the end of all this, 2 days later, it was 2 days after him bringing the flowers and doing all that stuff to me, that where he was going on and on at me, that's when I told him, look, I don't just, have people come over my home. They take me on official dates, because I already knew he wasn't going to do it. And that was going to be my way out so that he wouldn't try to come here and hurt me.
But that's my exact.
There's a lot of women nowadays that if you tell a man no, listen, this is true. Go look it up online. That if you come right out and say no to a man, I know a girl, and this is not just made up. She met this man on like a match.com, and she told the guy no, that, she didn't want to go out with him, after she realized, I think maybe she met him once and just told him, no, this isn't for me. And he stabbed her. We're so bad that she was in a coma state, and respirators in her throat. And no, I'm not going to I know how to get myself out of the situation, which I did, but I did it where I made it look like it was his idea. Are y'all getting this now?
I understand the point you're trying to make. But without us actually being there and experiencing it, it's hard for us to be on the outside looking in and
like you were. Yeah. I'm sorry. I don't mean to sound like a jackass or anything, but it does sound to me kind of like you were leading him on, maybe not intentionally, but
oh my God,
I
never spoke to him. He's the one that came to the door the first day. You're stuck on the third day. That's what you're stuck on, and that was my way of making him make his own choice.
That's the point, Vivian.
Money on me to take me out.
That's the point I'm trying to make that you're missing. You're missing the point I'm trying to make. 3 days later, you're telling the guy, if you want to ask me out, this is how you do it.
Because he kept calling me and calling me and calling me and
I
calling me.
understand that.
So what I did was I gave him an ultimatum that I knew he wouldn't follow through with. I gave him an ultimatum.
What they're trying to tell you is that what you saw as an ultimatum could be misconstrued as leading him on. Do you understand?
Any normal male
saying leading on, though. When when Hebreo's saying lead on, I'm trying to say something to you. I love you, Hebrew, but when you're saying leading, you were acting like I said over and over these things. I knew by that time that if I told him that, he would never ask me out. You understand? I knew
No,
that. I knew
that's the thing. Well, that's the thing is like you could have. I mean, in that situation, if he had actually attacked you, which I don't believe, I believe you when you said he did. But after that, you should have
grabbing my
everything.
stopping me from going out the door and
Right.
Go ahead.
That's what I'm saying is you should have done everything in your power to not see this guy again. It seems like to me, I don't, and I don't know, I might be misunderstanding what you're saying, and that's fine. But
I mean, there were other ways you could have handled it. You could have blocked his number. You could. I mean, you took a gamble doing that.
You understand? If you know this person, okay, after he left the house that morning, after the bid that was supposed to happen, where he was already like, let's go back, men. Let's stay with the track. Let's go with the track. He leaves make him leave my house right then. I said, no. Those were my words. No. You're here for a bid. That's it. No. And just like that, I said it to him. So he leaves. I'm not contacting him for any reason at all, Hebrew, at that point. Okay. He comes to my door, brings flowers, follows me out of my house, follows me. It's not me going after him. You've got that backwards, dude. Okay. Then on the third day of him calling me every day, I want to see you. And if I would have blocked his number, I don't know what this guy's up to. He knows where I live already. I want to know what he's up to. And I think I handled it pretty good, y'all. I did. I got rid of him because he's not going to want to take me to dinner.
You got rid of him, but he passed straight on down the street to the next poor little girl who might not be able to handle himself.
Well, you know what though? But I don't know what he's doing. He didn't rape me, so I can't just pick up a phone and call.
Yeah, at least the Better Business Bureau.
I can report it to the Better
There's
Business
lots of
Bureau.
places to report him. Better Business Bureau, police.
That's what she said, yeah.
Well, that's what I said 20 minutes ago. That's
still.
my point. If it was this bad, why didn't you just left him go out to attack more women? Makes no sense to me.
I don't think Hebrew, Armor, I've got cancer and I'm real sick. And this type of stress, I really didn't think that this conversation was going to come up and then make me more stressed instead of feel better about myself. But, there's a lot of things in my life that I've got the 19th, I go back for another dodium scan at the cancer's office. And I don't do stress well. I just wanted him off my property. That's all I wanted. And I did, you know what? And in San Antonio, it doesn't always work that way.
What's that?
Huh?
Is for us, it's changed.
Wow, that weird thing just started. My computer.
Well, anyway, forget it, y'all. Don't worry about it, man.
Well, I am sorry that it happened to you, Vivian, and I do feel bad for you. And I thank you for calling. And I know it's hard. It's one of those things. It's hard to, if you're not there, it's hard to explain. But I get the fact that you felt violated and you felt threatened, and nobody enjoys feeling that way. And I am sorry that you had to deal with that. I really am.
It really sucks that he wasn't a nice guy, like it would have been really nice if a real nice man had bought me flowers. But, and then you can't really tell somebody how they should handle something because some of us have a hard time in dealing as to know what to do to handle it. That it wasn't like I never even thought of that, Armor Up. I never thought
it ain't like it's
call
too late.
The police and tell them.
You know the guy's name.
It wasn't like
It ain't too late. You know the guy's name. You know his business. It ain't too late to stop him.
Huh?
It ain't too late. You still know his name.
Well, now I don't want my name involved in that. He's gone now.
What's wrong
He's
then.
Gone now.
And that's what's wrong. Well, when the next person who he may go further with and gets hurt, at least you weren't involved.
Well,
that's all I'm saying.
Well, I'm not responsible for the whole world. I'm responsible for myself to protect myself. Some of the people are married and they have a mate to protect with them. I have to look out for my own interest as a single woman. I have to take care of myself. I don't want to put myself in a situation where he finds out I made some report on him and he comes back and attacks me. I don't have that kind of, most women who are I hate to say this, most women who are calling for house repairs, for remodeling repairs, usually have a husband. I was trying to get a pretty good sized job done. But of course, at this point, it was really difficult because I had to hire a new lawn man a few days ago. And thank God that this lawn man's wife does all of his, it was just God's gift to me that his wife is the one that makes all his phone calls for him and stuff. Because I called and she answered, and she's the one that sets everything up. And then he came and did the yard work yesterday, and everything seemed pretty okay. I didn't feel uncomfortable.
I don't mean to
I don't want to have somebody come in my home and make me feel uncomfortable. What?
I don't mean to keep dragging it out and whatever, but I just wanted to add that you could have reported him anonymously, I would think.
I'm sure I'm the only one he was probably doing that to right now because he can't have victim written on my head.
Yeah,
so you don't know that he wasn't.
I highly doubt you're the only one.
I didn't want to put myself. Huh?
But I highly doubt you're the only one.
Right, but I'm saying other women somebody else could have reported him too then.
They already might have. That's what I mean. They already might have reported him. So your report might be another one. That's what I'm saying. Maybe some other women already did.
Oh, wow. I just had a brick hit me in the head. I'm so stupid.
Did you ever even look him up on the Better Business Bureau or look into his background and see if he's been,
I did look into his business after that happened. I looked online and it said that he did good work for the most part, except one person put that he ripped them off terribly on a job. But for the most part, all of his other jobs all looked so good, all the reviews online. So I did check that. You're right on that part. I did. And so wouldn't somebody else had wrote, if maybe he had tried this with another woman, don't you think somebody might have wrote it down?
Well, where did you said you checked? Did you check with the Better Business Bureau or his website?
No, I checked with Google and I looked up all of his reviews on all of Google.
Well, see, you go to the Better Business Bureau and you check companies. That's where it would be. It ain't going to be on Google because 90% of his cousins are the
Google
ones
had a ton of reviews on him.
Exactly.
And they were all good reviews except
exactly. That's the way Google works. Your mom writes the review, your cousin, your aunt. 1,000 people write review. You never worked for them, but they give you good reviews. Come on. That's why you check with you're always going to get good reviews on Google.
I think my project's on hold for a while, y'all. But I really need to see a plumber coming in and a carpenter. I need like Jesus. I need a carpenter. So, I was going to tell you something, Armor. So I've been watching I was watching the Beverly Hillbillies, the old show, with my grandkids this weekend. They came and stayed. It was really fun having them. They left this afternoon. And I was listening to this Jed's voice every time he would talk. And I was like, where do I know that voice? And it's you, Armor. You have Jed's voice.
Well, Jed Clampett, that's pretty good. I could do worse. I wish I had his money.
No, it's a good voice. He's got a good voice.
Especially when he says guilty.
So, when he says what?
Guilty.
Y'all back now. You hear?
Yeah, oh my God. I was thinking, who do I know that sounds like that? I know this voice. I know it can't be from 20, 30 years ago watching this show, And then it was just like, oh my God, it's Armor Up. Yeah, Armor Up. You got the Jet. It wasn't, seriously, of course, they made him look a little rugged for the show, but he wasn't really a bad looking man himself. If we cleaned him up and chopped off those eyebrows a little bit and cleaned him up a little bit, but he had a really unique voice, very, very country-ish. Where are you from?
I'm from Pennsylvania.
Oh, my sister lives there. My sister, you don't sound like you're from up north at all. You sound like you're straight from Texas, like me.
Well, I spent time in Texas in the service, Germany, so I got different accents. I can do a Southern accent, but because I spent enough time in Texas, I can get a drawl going.
Yeah, that was pretty cool though, because you do have that really sort of that raspy sound in the back, like he's got, in his throat, and I was just like, because I was watching. I started the first episode, and I was this might be a Mandela effect, okay? So I'm going to bring it up and see if y'all think it is one. It's not the one that I mentioned the other night on Dan's show where I thought Granny stays in the chair the whole time. I thought that I didn't see Granny. She leaves the property in the rocking chair on the back of their vehicle, but then they're driving down above Beverly Hills Drive, and she's just sitting in the car, not in the chair no more. So I'm not sure that, because Dan said he didn't think that was one, that he thought that she wasn't sitting there in the rocking chair the whole time.
I agree. Granny rode the whole way in the rocking chair.
Yeah, see, for me,
I haven't seen the show
too.
in a long time, so.
Well, now she's not, but she's not in the rocking chair no more, except when they first leave the property. But here's even a bigger one, y'all. Because I stayed up last night till when the kids already fell asleep, I stayed up to about 1 watching the episodes. So I went back to the first episode ever, which was the one that seemed like it was almost an hour long. It really didn't seem like a 30-minute episode. I'd have to go back and look how many minutes it was, but it really seemed like a very long episode. And it was the first one where the first thing you see in the episode is, what's his name? The banker guy. Anyway, Mr. Drysdale in a counselor's office, telling about these people, because of course then he goes back to tell the story. But in the show, in the beginning, when it says, well, not the first thing you know, Jed's a millionaire. When he goes out to, then one day he was shooting at some food, and up through the ground came a bubbling crude. Okay, so he shoots the ground, and you see the bubbles of black stuff. Do we all agree? Coming out of the ground,
Yep.
the oil, right?
Yep.
Well, then the weird thing is, it's showing in the song. Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. Ken folks said, hey, move away from there. Okay. And they call it California, not California. It's hilarious. But on the screen, it says California, but I thought it said California, but they do call it California through the whole entire show verbally. But in the song, I thought it said California is the place you ought to be. But on the screen, it'll say California. And I don't know why it said that. That was one. But the main one that was really weird is when you go back to that first episode, Jed didn't shoot no food to make him find the oil.
Shot a rabbit.
No, he wasn't shooting nothing. Guess what? In the new episode, there's a man that his daughter carries in because she knocks him out and carries him in and says, oh, Paul, can't I keep him? And he's the guy that comes from the city and finds the oil on their property. Now, what do you make of that?
Well, I
why
remember
would they have a song? Huh?
I remember her knocking the man out and saying, can I keep him? But he shot a rabbit when the oil came up, in my memory. They always did say California because that's just the country. Yeah, that was part of the country thing, California.
But did they say California in the song?
Yep. They say California is a place you want to be, so he loaded up his truck.
Okay. And I never heard
Hills,
it like that.
is.
Isn't that weird? I always heard
swimming
California.
pools, movie stuff.
Oh, you
I know the show well.
Yeah.
So, but the question is, wasn't it? I guess maybe try to ask the question direct. Wasn't it that Jed, Uncle Jed, he shot something and he found the oil? Isn't that correct?
That's what I said. He shot a rabbit. Said it 3 times.
Guess what?
He shot a rabbit.
It's not there no more. He never did any of that to find any oil no more. He does not find his own oil in the first episode.
That was the opening
other
credits of
guy.
every show. The opening scene of every show was him shooting the rabbit.
I'm not
in the
talking
oil.
about the opening scene, sweetie. I'm talking about, let me try to be a little more clear.
Look up.
Not the opening scene. The opening scene in the beginning of the first episode doesn't show him shooting. The first episode doesn't show him shooting anything. And that opening scene, you're correct. It's in every other episode. But I guess I'm not saying this right. Give me a minute to try to think of how to put this verbally, because this is going to blow y'all away.
I think if I'm hearing you right, you're talking about when you actually start watching the show itself. While the show is happening, there's not a scene of him in the show out hunting rabbits, seeing a rabbit, shooting it. Is that what you're saying?
Doesn't. Who's watching TV?
Probably Hebrew. But does it still have that opening in every other show, him shooting the ground?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say is it's not about that. It's not about the opening, Armor. I'm talking about the show itself.
You're talking about when you actually start watching it and it all starts to actually transpire on the show that there's not a scene of him shooting a rabbit.
Finding his own oil in the show. The first episode has nothing to do with him finding his own oil. Someone else found his oil. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay.
Like in the episode itself.
That's definitely
the episode
weird.
itself, some stranger was on his property and they found the oil.
Well, then the opening makes no sense in every other episode.
That's
crazy.
what I'm saying. Finally, we're together on this, Armor. The opening makes no sense at all. My jaw was dropping. In the first episode, that's pretty much it right there. When you go back to where that guy was knocked out, then you saw just a minute ago, they showed the helicopter. He showed the helicopter. That was that guy that was coming back. And that's where his cousin is trying to talk him into going to California. But if you go to the beginning right there, and then you go to where she carries the guy in the country. Go to the country scene again. Like, look, Granny's not in the chair. Go back and show him. See, Granny's not in the chair.
Hold on, I'm trying to find.
Right there. So this is it. Watch this for just a minute, if you can. This is where he's just at his place, and he goes in. I can be the narrator for it since you can't play. Don't move it. So he goes in and he's talking to Granny, and she's talking about the button-down shirt. Oh, that's weird. No, something's wrong. Last night she was sewing a shirt of Ellie Mae's that the buttons were popping out because her boobs were getting big. She was not, and he washed his hands, and she was going on about a shirt. In this episode, this is the one I watched last night. She's sewing some kind of pants there now. There it is. There's the shirt. Okay, so she's that's a shirt right there that she's fixing the buttons on because Ellie Mae's getting a little too big chested. And they're talking about Ellie Mae right now. Then all of a sudden, in a minute, Ellie Mae's going to come in the door, and she's going to dump some guy. And that guy is actually the man who came and found the oil. Jed knew there was oil, but he never went and did anything about the oil. Nothing at all. Look at Jed.
Well, right.
Look at Jed.
Right.
He's so cute.
I agree with that because this is the guy that came to tell him it was oil. He didn't find it. He went to where Jed shot and sampled it.
I know, but my question is, why would this man come to tell him that he found oil when in the episode song, it says Jed was shooting at some food, and up through the ground come a bubbling feud. Next thing you know, Jed's a millionaire. It didn't say that there was this guy who came there secretly on his property and found oil and tells him about it. That's not natural.
That ain't the way. The guy came because one of Jed's relatives called him to come see if it was oil. And when the guy came, he basically said, I found oil. He didn't mean he found it. He meant what he tested was oil. I found oil. It is oil. You see what I'm saying?
I guess I'm not making
it still
any
fits
sense,
this.
but
It still
now,
fits everything.
It don't matter.
Yeah, Vivian, I see what you were going for there because you were saying like instantly as soon as the oil came up from the shot that's the reason why. I mean, the song does kind of imply that, but it is kind of vague too. It just says next thing you know. The song isn't going to go well. Upcoming bubbling crude. Then then Melly beats a guy and or brings the guy home, and he finds the. I mean, they weren't going to put all that into a song. You see what I mean?
Mhm.
They
Okay, but
just
now right here, where no, go back to the part where they were leaving the property, and they had Granny in the chair just a second ago, and then they put her on the back of the vehicle to drive to Beverly Hills. She is not in the chair anymore. She's only in it as they're leaving the property in the song. Then when they're going down Beverly Hills Drive, she's not in the chair, Armor.
Wow, yeah,
She's
that's
not in it.
crazy. That's crazy.
Look at
Granny
that.
in the
So
chair
do you
with her
remember
shotgun.
her being here? Look. There, she's not in the chair. Do you see that?
Yep.
Doesn't everybody remember her in the chair the whole time?
Oh
I
yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And Dan does not. He said no, I was wrong. But I don't know if it's a wrong or right thing, because I know when they left the property in that particular other one you were just in, the other video you were just in, when they leave the property, she's on the chair as they're leaving the property because they carry her rocker to the chair and put her up there. Now, when she gets on Beverly Hills Drive, she's just sitting in the car like the rest of them, and that don't make no sense to me
No,
at
I
all.
agree. She was.
I'm a chairperson the whole way.
Yep.
yeah, I think I'm a chairperson too.
Yeah, well, good. Now I don't feel so crazy because I was starting to think, well, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe she wasn't.
Well, no, you're still crazy.
I am.
Yeah, but I mean that in the nicest way possible.
Oh, that's sweet of you. Yeah. Well, I just thought that's a good Mandela effect then, the one where, she's not in the chair. No. To me, it
Yeah,
just didn't.
That one I definitely agree
Right
with.
here,
She
wait a
definitely
minute.
should be in the chair.
Just seeing that he shoots him down. This is where he shoots that guy down. See, I don't remember. To me, when I was a kid and I saw the first episode, Armor, I did not see this man as the man that it did not go in this direction. The whole thing doesn't look right to me. So I may be having a different dimension,
No,
I remember that episode, but he definitely is shooting the rabbit in this episode. So if that ain't there anymore,
I never
that's a
see him
Mandela.
shooting the rabbit at all. They don't show it at all in the episode. They only show him walking in the door. He doesn't shoot anything.
No,
They don't even show it in the beginning of the episode.
Yeah,
I don't know
that's
who's
weird.
moving the screen around, but look, she's not in the chair. See?
Right. No, I was trying to see if he shoots, because I remember him shooting the rabbit as well at the very first episode. Because I remember back when they would show these on
the very first episode only shows Beverly Hills Drive, and they say, "Welcome to Beverly Hills Drive," and they show Beverly Hills Drive from up in the air with the palm trees, and they don't show this. They don't show the shooting at the crude until the second episode. Then he shoots at the food, which is the rabbit, and the crude comes up off the ring on the second episode. The first episode, they don't have that beginning on it, and if they're having it on here right now, I don't know why they're doing it, because that's not how the beginning went on when I watched it on this thing where you can watch all the episodes from beginning to end, season 1, season 2, all the way through. You can watch it on Roku TV. See, like right here, I don't know where he's at because he's moving it around a lot. But oh, that's good. Jed shoots the rabbit. Yeah, he doesn't never shoot the rabbit in this scene. He just comes in with the gun. He never shoots it. He only shoots it in the stupid song. It doesn't make no sense to me.
Yeah, that's weird.
I watched this, I rewinded it last night just to see what am I missing here. Why didn't it starts with him walking up to the hut like he just did, right? Did y'all see that?
And he didn't even have a rabbit. He was carrying the rabbit home.
No, he had a gun. He had a gun.
Yeah, but he was carrying the rabbit home. That's what I'm saying. The first.
Oh, that's right. See, that's what I'm saying. Something's not right. Because from my the episode I remember is they show him out there.
Mm-hmm.
Now this is the song. This is the song right here. Of course, we can't hear it because y'all are not playing it. See, shooting at food and up to the ground come a bubbling crude. Yeah, oil that is. Black gold,
Now, there
Texas.
he is at the start, writing on the.
Well, the first thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The Ken folks said, here, stay, don't go. There she's leaving on it. See it? She's leaving. Now watch, she's not sitting in it. That don't make no sense to me. First thing you know, old Jed's a millionaire. The Ken folks said, hey, move away from there. They said California. And I always heard California. I never heard California except when they would talk it. They said, California is the place you ought to be. And they loaded up the truck and they moved to Beverly Hills, that is. No rabbit.
Share the humor of the situation, Chief? Well, I sent him an alligator wallet. So he said he was going to send me a kangaroo pouch.
Sorry about that. Yeah, I remember the song clearly, and I do remember the episode you're talking about. Like it was the first episode, but I can't seem to find it. Like I clicked on.
Is that Hebrew talking or Sag? Is that you, Hebrew?
Yeah, that's me.
Because you sound like Sag, so it's hard to tell.
Okay.
Y'all have the same, like you could be brothers or something. Well, we can never walk in somebody else's shoes unless we know what they are. But I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know why the first episode does not show him killing the rabbit and taking it back to the hut to Granny to cook.
If somebody had a DVD, like a DVD of the complete first season, they might play it. It might be on a something that they showed on TV Land at some point, where they showed the pilot episode. And a lot of pilot episodes they take out and they redo them for after they.
What if you type in Google like was there an episode where? Wait a minute, let me go to my Google real quick. Let me just check. I'm just going to check. Was there an episode?
It's probably in the lost episode
where Jed shoots a rabbit. A-B-I-T. Okay, let me see. Okay, here you go. It says the Clambett Strike Oil, and this is a list of Beverly Hills episodes. Let me just do it on my end, and I'll keep the volume down. Let me just see if this particular one from Google itself actually took me right over to a 26-minute video on YouTube. And there's a commercial, so give me a second. And if I see anything different, but in the beginning, I remember him. He didn't even walk up with the rabbit in his hand, though. See, this is actually playing the. If I see anything different, but in the that's me talking. I remember him. He didn't even walk. Yeah, no. This beginning of this one, she's taking us through the song, but I'm going to go to the beginning part of the movie now, where he walked in. Sorry about that. Yeah, no, it's the same thing. There's just the whole episode makes no sense to me at all. Because he didn't even, I thought in the episode he found the oil. He told his cousin, that lady, Jethro's mother. Remember Jethro's mother with the, the old lady? Jethro's mom, his cousin, Jed's cousin. That's his sister.
Yeah, he told her. Like Lorraine says down there, sometimes they edit the opening. And that's why I said if you had the DVD, you can go back and look. And sometimes sometimes when a movie or when a show is first launched, they'll take it down, but then they'll re-release the original episodes in the DVD. But I know I saw on TV the episode you're talking about where he did shoot the rabbit and you see the rabbit. You actually see the rabbit, and then the bubbling crude comes up.
The rabbit in the episode in the house to Granny, right?
Yep.
Well, it's gone, y'all. And I was just trying to watch the Hillbillies. I wasn't trying to find a Mandela effect, just so you know. I don't go looking for them, but the whole chair one really throws me for a loop, man. That one's just crazy. Why she's not sitting up there on that chair on Beverly Hills Drive. And Dan said, well, it's because it's Beverly Hills Drive and they can't be up there on it. That's just a video behind them. They're not really driving down Beverly Hills Drive to do that. That's just like if they're in a, that's just all Hollywood. You know, they're not really driving down the road of Beverly Hills Drive to film that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yep.
Just kind of like a film thing going or what. I don't know. I just think it's weird that she's not in the chair. I'm like, well, the first thing I thought is when I looked up at the screen, I wasn't looking down. I thought she fell out. I was like, where did she go? And then I'm so glad somebody else has said that they remember her in the vehicle sitting in the chair, because I was thinking I was losing it. Well, listen, it's been an interesting evening. I was just going to call him for a second, but it was a lot of fun.
For sure.
Well, yeah, definitely. Thanks for calling and sharing.
Yeah, thanks for y'all's opinions on my dilemma. But hey, I got through it and I came out whole. I'm still alive. If y'all don't hear from me in the next few days, somehow he stopped me and killed me. Cancel that thought, right? Okay, so y'all have a good night. Good night, Hebrews, Sag, and Armorette.
Night, Viv.
Good night.
Yeah, and don't
Good
think
night.
that
Love
way.
y'all.
Yep, love
Do
you
what?
too. I said, don't think that way.
I won't. I'm just gonna stay positive and put God's hedge of protection right around my house.
There you go.
Okay, night, night, y'all. Bye bye.
Night.
Good night.
Well, there you go. There's something. What I'd like to do is go back and tonight before I go to bed, like I stay up until 2 or 3 in the morning, and I'll be watching those episodes and see if I come across anything. And if I do, I'll make a video of it in the morning. How's that sound?
Yeah, yep. Like you said, though, it could just be a deleted scene. But I know he shot the rabbit and carried it in the house and threw it on the table for Granny.
Oh yeah, I do remember that. So,
and Granny definitely was in the chair the whole way. That was part of the joke. She was up there with her shotgun, her double barrel.
Yeah. Tied to the chair.
Tied to the chair so she wouldn't fall out. Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
And she was up there.
She didn't want to go. She didn't want to go, and they had the hog tie her to the chair.
They basically kidnapped her, hog tied her with the load.
Yep.
Jed carried her out over his shoulder because she didn't want to go.
Yeah, that definitely was the case. I remember watching those episodes when I was a kid, and I remember watching them as a young adult as well. And I definitely have a very good memory of that, them showing that episode. It was either TV Land or TBS or, one of those other stations at the time that actually, at that time, they actually showed good shows on TV like Beverly Hillbilly, Gilligan's Island, all that, And I do remember that episode playing through, just like you said.
It's also highly possible that it wasn't the first episode.
Right.
It could have been like a flashback episode a season or two later or later in that season. The first episode may have just picked up where the oil guy came to check it. I don't remember enough to say it was for sure the first episode, but there's definitely an episode where he should shoot the rabbit, bring it in the house, tell Granny about that. He tells his cousin. I mean, I remember the episode she's talking about. That was definitely an episode.
Definitely. Well, it looks like we lost Saji. Would you like to do one final shout out till he comes back in?
Yeah, and we've been going a while. I'm getting a little tired, but yeah, we'll do it.
Yeah, me too.
The Truth Set You Free, Michael Fontaine, Euler Greg, Lorraine Lamour, purposing. Grace. Scrolling. Who else do we have here? Oh, we had Bub Elvis. Can't forget Bub. Bub Elvis. Natiqueta. Probably butchered that, but Natiqueta. OP3 Crimson was here earlier. Thank you so much for sharing. CJ Wood, of course. She had to cut out on us. Her allergies were kicking her butt. So prayers, CJ. I know the feeling. It's fun getting old. I never used to get allergies. I get them now. Prelim Minimal is also in the house. Fizzy Pop, of course, was here earlier, but I'm sure she's in bed by now. Dun, dun. Go-Kart Bob was here earlier. And I think that's everybody.
All right.
Cool. Well, you should have typed.
Cool. Saji, welcome back, buddy. You want to tell us your final thoughts?
No, I mean, it was just an interesting show as always. Don't really have any final thoughts. Nope. Mine's blank. I'm drawing blanks.
Armor, did you have anything you wanted to add or subtract or anything you want to plug?
No, not really. Tune in for Wednesday Word. It's going to be a really, really good one this week. One of my favorite testimonies ever. The only near-death experience I've ever heard that rang true in my spirit. So it's going to be a very good Wednesday Word this week. So don't miss it.
Sounds good, brother. And you have the closing show thing, don't you?
Oh, yeah. Are we ready to run it?
I think so. I think everybody's in agreement to that, don't you, Saj?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
All right. Let me get sharing, because sharing is caring.
Indeed.
Let me know what you're sharing.
It's a Sharon.
S is for the S's that have disappeared. H is for Haas, it's changed, my dear. I is for incredible, lots of changes to our edibles. F is freaky 'cause Mandela effects are all the buzz. And T is for time that's running fast. Y is for your memories, hope they last. If it's not a fun day, won't you join me Shifty Sunday? Shifty Sunday for Emmys. Shifty Sunday, if you please.
That's all, folks.
Oh, that was great. I like that. Well, with that being said, good night, everybody, and go Chiefs.